Our NASA Artemis leaders are discussing the wet dress rehearsal pre-launch test for Artemis. Oh.
Pretty big day
yeah, we should probably check that out.
The rehearsal consists of several test objectives. We have 2 primary test objectives,
guys,
5 secondary.
We're gonna impromptu start space news, okay?
Test objectives
I saved my work.
With the work yesterday, and then 3 of the 5 secondaries are now complete. We do have 1 that is partially complete, and then 1 related to the cryo.
Here, let's see. I want to listen to this.
That is remains open, and certainly the 1 primary.
Maybe we can play more RRO later or something
related to the cryogenics, and so I'll talk a little bit about that as we go forward. So, as most of you know, we were here. I think I forget which day we were here. I think we were a few days ago, Sunday, and we talked about the work that had been done since Call the Stations. And just a quick kind of recap.
Let's see what we got.
Our Call the Stations was on Friday.
So, as with any, teleconference, guys, I shut up. I don't say anything. I like to sit here and listen. So that's what I'm going to do. So without further ado, here you go.
So we stood down for 24 hours to understand that capability, or to recover that capability. The team did a really good job over the course of that 24 hours, working that, troubleshooting that and understanding it, and getting us in a configuration to proceed. So on Monday morning, just yesterday, we came in and had our pre-tanking briefing, and we were got the go for tanking out of that meeting, and the team prepared to get that into work. Just before our meeting or our briefing completed, we did find out that there had been an issue with the GN2 supply to the center, and so that created a little bit of an issue for us. The GN2 supply went down while they were troubleshooting that, and then it came back up. And so around 10 a.m., we got back into configuration. The team was ready to begin cryogenic loading operations, and we started LOX chill down right around 10:40 local time. We began pumping LOX to the launcher just before 11 o'clock, and then somewhere around about 11:30 local time, we have some what we would call built-in protections in our software system. It's called reactive control logic, and so we did get a stop in our software, a reactive control logic hit that was an anti-geyser violation, and so the team began looking into that and troubleshooting that, and determined that it was due to the configuration of the core stage and the upper stage ML piping. And after evaluating that, it was determined that just in the configuration of the lines, you end up getting a little bit of LOX that goes up into that upper stage vertical column, and then as you change the pump speed on your LOX pump, some of that warm LOX will come back into the main fill stream of the core stage, and so some of the inlet temperatures there, we saw an excursion on. The team stopped, took a look at the situation, evaluated it, and determined that we needed to load in a little bit different manner. And essentially what it consisted of is when we would change, as we go through our loading profile, we go from chill down, slow fill, fast fill, topping, and as you go through those different phases of loading for LOX, you end up changing your pump speed and the capacity in which you're pushing fluid into the vehicle. So they went off and looked at how they could alter that and get into the loading operations, and they were able to develop that procedure and put that into work. And we were able to load LOX into the core stage for the very first time, and we got about halfway in our loading operations. We did start our preparations for LH2 loading, and we did encounter an issue, as Catherine described, with the LH2 pneumatic pressure panel at the pad. We utilized pneumatic pressure or helium to activate the core stage vent valve that is required to get the LH2 to flow into the core stage hydrogen tank. So we were at a point where we did attempt both our primary and our secondary valves, but that did not resolve the issue, and we decided that based on the length of day and where we were in the LOX loading profile, that we would need to send a team into the pad to take a look at that panel and that configuration. So we stopped our cryogenic loading operations yesterday. In addition to the LO2 loading that we did accomplish, we also were able to verify our Orion launch countdown configuration and checkout, our Orion day of launch communications. We did our JSC commanding with the flight control team. We were able to do the upper stage flight control preps and the guidance checkout, booster power up and configuration, some of our core stage engine purges and MPS checkouts, and all of our range safety checkouts were complete. So there was quite a bit of our day of launch configuration that was completed. After the scrub, we went through our cutoff and safing, which is also an important thing, and getting into our drain operations, which is something that we also wanted to demonstrate how we would work through that. That was done successfully. And at this time, the vehicle, all of the elements of the flight hardware are powered down: Orion, ICPS, booster, and core stage. The ML configuration has all been saved. The ML's been depressurized. Our ECS system is back on air from GN2 back to air, and so we are currently in a good configuration out at the pad to begin looking at that next opportunity. And so let's see, I think that's the summary of where we are today. And Mike, I can hand it to you.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. You know, as the mission management team chair, you get a chance to sit back and watch the team work through these challenges and deal with, you know, real physics and technical constraints on a very complex system that's taken years to develop and produce and get to the launch pad. And Tom said it at the outset that this team has come together as one team. There's remarkable teamwork going on. The vehicle sitting at the pad is a physical representation of how that team has come together. You know, the mobile launcher and the launch pad is a great representation with the launch control center off in the distance of the exploration ground systems team and our launch operations team. The Space Launch System rocket that comes in the form of the boosters, the interim cryo propulsion stage, the upper stage, and the core stage, and the liquid engines on board, you know, represents the Space Launch System and the team out of the Marshall Space Flight Center. And then the Orion spacecraft sitting on the top represents our team out at Houston. And, you know, the team has really come together not only through training, but through this test program, and is demonstrated resilience, remarkable technical discipline and toughness as they work through these issues. And Charlie outlined a whole myriad of technical challenges and issues that we've had to overcome, in addition to environmental issues like the weather over the past weekend. I'll say that there's a lot of learning going on, and we're a learning organization, and we take pride in learning from these tests, and we're taking the time to apply those lessons learned and roll those into the next attempt. And we're gonna get past a partially successful test that we had earlier this week, and we anticipate that we'll have a fully successful test in short order here. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Excuse me. We will now begin with our question and answer portion. Again, please stick to one question and identify to whom your question is directed. If we have time, we'll allow reporters to ask a second question. Again, you can enter *1 on your phone to be entered into the queue at any time, and you can enter *2 if you'd like to be removed from the queue. First, we will go to Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press.
Yes, hi. SpaceX launch is now taking priority. So what is the earliest you would conduct the demo test? Would you start from scratch? How would that all work?
Hi, Marcia. You were kind of low and broken in the background, but this is Mike Serafin. I'll say that we're staying in close contact and collaborate daily with our commercial crew and International Space Station and commercial LEO partners that are launching off the other pads. And We're aware that their primary launch attempts are coming up here soon. We're looking at our constraints relative to rolling in the lessons learned that we just discussed, and it looks like we'll take just about as much time as they're going to need, as we're going to need for Axiom to fly. So we'll fall in behind them. Exactly what date that is, we've got to finish sharpening the pencil on our open work, but we don't anticipate that it'll be too much longer than after the Axiom launch.
Thank you. Our next question is from Philip Sloss of NASA Spaceflight.
Thanks. Was the issue with the core stage LOX chill down that you ran into yesterday, how was it similar, if at all, or how is it different from the situation that you ran into at Stennis when you first attempted to load liquid oxygen onto the core stage? Thanks.
Hey, Philip, this is Tom. Let me take a little bit of that, then I'm going to turn it over to Charlie. You know, I went through the whole campaign at Stennis, and, you know, and you're right, we ran into the LOX load is always, it's a little tricky, right? And it's more dense than hydrogen, and you have to worry about anti-geyser, so it has the unique characteristics that make it, particularly the initial part of the load, fairly challenging. We had a different situation going on at Stennis. We had to worry about the coldness of the LOX. We were coming off barges and a run tank, and so they did a very similar thing. It's like the little puzzle thing I talked about, where they looked at the different temperatures and flow parameters and sequencing, and they worked around that. It was somewhat similar, and I'll let Charlie talk about what we did this time. It was a slightly different cause for the challenge, but it fundamentally comes down to LOX is fairly dense. You have to pump it. It takes a while to pump it. You know, you have to really worry about its thermal condition as you go through the process, particularly at the start of the flow process. So it was a different challenge at Stennis, but kind of many of the same considerations. And Charlie, I don't know what you'd like to add to that.
Yeah, I would say Tom is absolutely correct. They were similar in that it had to do with your inlet temps, right, at the core stage. But the difference, I think, is that, and I'm not as familiar with the Stennis configuration, but ours was very unique to the upper stage and the configuration that supports not just a core stage load, but an upper stage load as well. And so as you think about, if you think about the, you know, core stage and the upper stage being higher and just having a column, if you will, a vertical column of cryogenics, and certainly it was a small amount, but as you're loading, as you throttle that pump speed back, you're going to have some amount of that LOX that's in that upper stage, headed toward that upper stage skid, is going to come back down into your main flow stream, and that affects your temperatures, and that was fundamentally what the issue was here. So it really was similar in that it had to do with the inlet temps, but it was different because it had to do with the upper stage and really the architecture of the loading that we have.
Thank you. Our next question is from Eric Berger of Ars Technica.
Hi, thanks for doing this. First of all, I just wanted to say it was kind of difficult to follow along the test on Sunday and Monday. Like basic information when prop loading began and the test window could close. It just feel like it was lacking. I know you guys are working on that, but it was certainly noticeable. Second of all, Charlie, you mentioned you made good progress on the test objectives. You know, but from an outside, from a non-engineer, it seems like the dynamic part of the test, or really dynamic, is like when you sort of start filling both tanks and topping off and so forth. So I'm just wondering, like, you know, how far do you feel like you've gotten? It's like if you're running a marathon, are you mile 5, 10, 20? Just trying to get a sense of, like, you know, do you feel like you're really close, or do you still have a lot ahead of you? Thanks.
And so that's a tough one to answer because wet dress is certainly about cryogenics, but it is also about day of launch configuration, and it is about all of your external interfaces. So from an external interface, you know, with the range, the Johnson Space Center, you know, external commanding to the vehicle, all of those things were accomplished. As I said, the Orion configuration was verified, ICPS, so there's a significant amount of test objectives that were completed. With respect to the cryogenics, I mean, we got through our loading our LO2 loading to, again, about 50% on the core stage, but we still have the core stage hydrogen load to go. We look forward to getting into that, and then we also have both commodities on the upper stage. So it's really hard to put a number to what that is in terms of, thinking about, running that race, how far you got, but I would characterize it as, a significant amount of our objectives have been completed. We certainly look forward to finishing out the cryo loading operations and, as you stated, that dynamic phase of loading and getting that objective behind us.
Eric, this is Mike Serif, and I'm going to just jump in here. I think Charlie's being modest. And I say that because earlier this week, Charlie and I and a few others were discussing the preparations to even just get to the cryo loading phase and what Charlie terms getting out of the pad, which is basically reconfiguring the vehicle from where you're doing preps and servicing just to have access to the vehicle. And there's all sorts of guards and steel and platforms in place that are in place that you got to remove to get to the flight configuration. And I'll pause there, Charlie, and see if you have anything to add on that, because I know that was a significant timeline validation effort that occurred earlier this week. So I'll let you follow up on that one.
Yeah, Mike, so thanks for that reminder. You are correct. So one of the things that I always tell folks is there are two, anytime you're in launch countdown or wet dress, right, it's a hard set of work to go do. But there are two pieces of that work that are really challenging. One is when you get into terminal count, and the other is getting out of the pad. And it's really tough to get out of the pad. You have to get you have to get everything configured. That has to be done locally. You have to get all of your work done. All of the, what I call big steel moved. You got to get the engine service platform down the hill. You got to get the side flame deflectors in position. You got to get the extensible columns jacked. There is just a lot of work to go do, and all of that is your critical path to tanking and your critical path to air to GN2 transfer. And so we were able to go through and demonstrate all of that work and get through that, and that is a big deal for us. One of the test objectives for wet dress was to go through your timelines in some of these critical areas and demonstrate what those are and see how the as runs compared to your planned timeline, so that you have all of that data and you can put those together for launch. So, yeah, Mike, thanks for that reminder.
Thank you. Our next question is from Stephen Clark with Spaceflight Now.
Thank you. Stephen Clark from Spaceflight Now. Just wanted to follow up a little bit on the vent valve issue yesterday. That actuation panel, I understand, is on the mobile launcher itself. Has the team gotten out there to take a look at that valve and determine the cause of why the primary and the redundant valves were not responding?
Yes, we got teams out to the pad today, and after inspection, we found that the manual hand valve was in the closed position and should have been open.
Thank you. Our next question is from Marcia Smith of Space Policy Online.
Thanks so much. I'd like to pick up on a question that Marcia Dunn asked, because I didn't catch the answer. And she had asked whether or not you had to start from scratch when you do this again, or do you pick up where you left off? How much more of it do you have to do?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We don't have to start from scratch. We're at a really good hold point. We can get some other work done out at the pad, while we're getting configured, while we're topping off commodities, but we don't go all the way back to the beginning, which puts us at an advantage for when we start back up. We're laying out those timelines right now, and so we'll have those a little bit later, but it won't be all the way back to the beginning. If you recall, when we started, we had a couple of days of preps, and then we had the wet dress itself was about 2 days long, so that was about 4 days. And so this time we're looking at something significantly shorter. I would say something in about the 36-hour time frame.
Thank you. Our next question is from Chris Gabehart of NASA Spaceflight.
Yes, thanks, Charlie. From a team perspective, I'm curious. I know you have a little bit more flexibility on these test days than you would on launch day, but about how late in the day could you actually go for those 2 final terminal count runs based on coming in and starting your tanking meetings at around 7 from a crew rest and a crew health standpoint? Thank you.
So we like to keep the length of day, 12 hours or less, ideally. And so we had planned to start our tanking at 7 and then to finish up about 2:30 in the afternoon, understanding that we still had several, couple of hours of drain left at the end.
Thank you. Our next question is from Christopher Kokinos of Astronomy Magazine.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for doing this, and good luck as you continue. I just had actually a quick clarification question, and then a larger question. The clarification is, you talked about GN2. Is that the gaseous nitrogen? And it's just unclear to me what that outage. I'm quoting from your blog, an outage with the vendor of gaseous nitrogen required for taking operations or preparations. Just wondering what that was more precisely. And just to be clear, you're not pulling back to the VAB, is that correct? For the next, you're just going to leave it out on the pad and then get to the next abbreviated wet dress rehearsal. Thank you.
Yes, we are remaining at the pad in preparation for our next wet dress rehearsal attempt. With regard to the issue that they had with the supply, I can certainly share. I don't have full insight since it's not something that I directly work with. But as I understand it, or what was reported to us, is that they had a vaporizer that froze up. There was a LN2 leak that affected the entire capability, and so they had to, because it froze, they had to bring the capability down momentarily, allow it to warm up, and then reinstate it. So we certainly had capability once they secured the area that they had the issue with. And then, as I said, let the equipment warm up and then started to resupply GN2 to the pipeline.
And to be real, Christopher, this is Mike Serafin. To be real clear on this, this is a commercial supplier that's off the Kennedy Space Center facility that supplies gaseous nitrogen that's used to inert volumes of the vehicle, and we're not the only user of that supply.
Thank you. Our next question is from Kenneth Chang of New York Times.
Thank you. So this is following up on Chris Gephardt's question. If you hadn't had the valve problem with the liquid nitrogen, would you have done the full countdown? Does that seem like it would have ended at 10 or 11 at night?
We would have, let me see. So we would have started the tanking operations earlier had we not had the GN2 supply issue that delayed us. But we still would have run into an issue with the pneumatic valve out on the mobile launcher, and that would have ultimately still caused us to delay the hydrogen load.
Yeah, and Kenneth, was your question that, or was the question if we had the valve, the LH2 valve, the hydrogen valve properly configured? I think the answer was we would have gone into the hydrogen load and see how far we, and Charlie would have a better way of saying it, that if we hadn't had the valve in the wrong configuration, we would have gone into the hydrogen load, and we couldn't go any farther with the LOX load until we started loading hydrogen at that point. So we would have proceeded, and then it would have been up to Charlie to decide how far we could get in our operations. Did I get that right, Charlie? Or?
No, you got it right, Tom.
Thank you. Our next question is from George Dvorsky of Gizmodo.
Hi, everybody. The sense I'm getting is that the issues that have been experienced over the last several days are nothing of a really major variety. And I do understand, of course, that there needs to be a more thorough investigation of the wet dress and, of course, the subsequent one that's to follow. But am I to understand that there's really nothing been too alarming, nothing too catastrophic, and that, we're not really talking about anything, potentially problematic in terms of the pace of where the program is at right now? Thanks very much.
Yep. Hi, George. This is Mike Serafin. Yes, that is correct. I mean, we haven't run into any fundamental design flaws or design issues. These are what I'll characterize as nuisance or just kind of technical issues where we're learning features and systems that we characterized in subscale testing, but when you put it all together, you learn where some of your uncertainties are, and we're working our way through that. We've done a remarkable amount of ground testing at the component level, whether it's structural and loads and dynamics testing or software and avionics testing. But when you put it all together, and then you add the natural environment factors, and then the cryogenic temperatures, and all the other factors involved, sometimes you learn that the full system is slightly different than the subscale, and that's what we're working through right now. But you're correct that none of these are major issues that we need to overcome. We just need to work our way through it so that we can be efficient when it comes time to do this for launch day.
Yeah, George, just to be super duper clear, the Mega Moon rockets, it's fine. Then everything we just talked about is that partnership we have between the rocket and the facility that works together to get us in a launch condition. And so, we're learning stuff, we're figuring out pieces of the puzzle, and that's good. But from a flight hardware perspective, we haven't seen anything in these operations that is really on the flight side. It's really kind of marrying up the rocket to our ground system and getting them to work together. And this dance we talked about, it's just complicated. We're going to work through it. I think the team's doing a really good job.
Thank you. Our next question is from Raman Skvita of Wired Magazine.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to ask, this is mainly a question for Charlie or maybe Mike. I just wanted to ask, how does it feel to be, so close to getting this huge rocket finally ready for launch? I mean, is it feeling exciting, or is it also maybe a little bit, nerve-wracking or frustrating to come across these, technical problems, and also with the problem with the fans and then this valve? I'm assuming you're hoping this would be done already. Is this pretty standard, or is it maybe a little bit frustrating having these delays to deal with?
So let's see, Mike, I'll take that one first, and then you can add to it. So, I would tell you that we are at a very exciting point in our program. I mean, I've been working on this since 2014, and so to have this amazing vehicle at the pad, I'll tell you, yesterday when I came in, I pulled into the Launch Control Center parking lot, and I actually walked down toward the road, and I stood there for a minute, and I just looked out at the pad. It was dark, I came in, it's early in the morning, and before sunrise, and I stood there for just a minute, and I looked out at the pad, and I thought, wow, this is an incredible vehicle, an incredible capability that is going to return us to the moon and one day take us on to Mars. And I'm standing here in the parking lot looking out at the pad at it and thinking about this test that's in front of us that demonstrates our day of launch capability and how close we are to that. So it is exciting. It's exciting for the team. Would we have loved to have finished the test yesterday? You bet. But I think that we do our best work. I think NASA does some of its best work when it is solving problems, because I think that's part of what calls us to this, right? It's that curiosity, it's that love of exploration, but it's also the fact that you have these things that you're going to meet head on and you're going to go solve. And so I couldn't be more proud of our team and the work that they've completed so far, and their creativity yesterday when they encountered an issue of figuring out, okay, this LOX loading didn't quite work the way that we expected it to in our software, but we're going to sit down and we're going to figure out a way to make it work, and they did. So I may have rambled on a little bit there for your question, but Mike, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I kind of have a mix of feelings here. It feels familiar, but different, and I'm also appreciative. And the familiar part is, the physics are the same. Many of the risks are the same as other programs that I've worked, and just the dedication of the team. But we but it's different because we have a new vehicle, and while we have many of the same team members, everybody's in a different role. This is the first time this team is flying this particular vehicle and getting ready to execute this particular program, the Artemis program. So there are some differences, and then the appreciation aspect is really of our forefathers and just a recognition of how hard it is to get through this first time build and production and test program and get through the first flight, because speaking for myself, I took that for granted. Every program that I worked up until recently was an established program, and I worked the operational aspects of it. And we didn't have to learn some of these nuances and characteristics that we talked about here that we're learning here at Wet Dress, or any of the prior testing that's been done or prior training that's been done. So familiar but different with appreciation is kind of how I'd answer your question.
Yeah, let me add to that. I did the shuttle program, and there's just a lot of attention. We would have things come up periodically in the shuttle program, and we had done it hundreds of times, and still things come up, and you just kind of deal with it and move forward. I think the team's doing a tremendous job. Historically, if you look at this type of stuff, they're doing really good. I can't be prouder of the ground team that we have and the OEMs that are doing this in our international partnership. I'm not seeing anything, the mega rocket's doing good, and these are not, I think there's just a lot of attention right now because it's such an incredible new capability, and people are really interested, which we're really glad that people are that interested. But based on my history, and I've been through a lot of this stuff, this is the kind of thing that you'll run into, and they're working their way through it. And I think they're really, actually, my impression is they're just doing an incredible job. I wish, yesterday when they worked through the little puzzle of getting the locks loaded, that was just absolutely incredible. So I'm actually very positive about the team, and I think they're doing good stuff. It's just, these type of things do come up, and they're working their way through it. And I think we'll have another coming up here in a couple of days, and we'll see how we do. I think it's actually, I'm feeling pretty positive about the whole thing.
Thank you. Next up, we have Manuel Mazzanti from Debate.
Hi, how are you? Manuel Mazzanti, covering the space program in Spanish. Two quick questions. I would like to have your comments on how well the weather behaved during this test. It looks like nature received the memo that SLS was going to be tested and responded in kind, even with light storms. So I wonder that it is super helpful to check different systems. So I would like your opinion on that. And my second question is, does this minor delay affect in some way the June launch window? Thank you.
Manuel, this is Mike Seraphin. So as far as the weather is concerned, I would say we saw the full extreme of what you can have for weather. We saw what our own meteorologists classified as strong to severe on Saturday, which gave our lightning protection system an opportunity to demonstrate its capability and protect the 32-story tall rocket sitting out there on the launch pad, and it did a fantastic job. And then Sunday and Monday during our wet dress rehearsal attempts, we saw remarkably good weather. The winds were very low. Monday in particular, again, our meteorologist classified it as superb, and it was in the 70s. The winds were low. It was a beautiful sunny day. I don't think we could have asked for better test conditions. We just ran into challenges with some of the systems getting through it. And the second part of your question, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, the
June launch window. We're not ready to give up on it yet, and we'll reassess after wet dress as far as where we stand relative to any work that we pick up. I don't know, Tom, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, let's get through wet dress. We'll get another shot here in a couple of days. It's a great question, and I think we'll be in a much better position to answer it. When we get through the wet dress. Like I said, I'm very positive. The team's incredible, actually. And we just had a couple of things come up. They came up during the shuttle program, just so you know. It's just so we're getting a lot of attention with this activity. And so we'll get through the wet dress, and I think we'll be in a much better position to talk about where we think we are for the launch. But once again, I can't emphasize enough the vehicle's doing pretty good. We were just working our way through a couple things, which we saw this at the Green Run as well, by the way, and we saw it during the shuttle program. And I'm really proud of the team. I think Charlie and Mike and the team are just doing a tremendous job.
Thank you. Our next question is from Michael Greshko of National Geographic.
Hi, thanks so much. I think this would be for Mike, but just to follow up on George's earlier question, is there anything that you've seen in the first attempt here that would complicate or lengthen any of the sort of the checkouts and refurbishment that you all have planned once you roll it back to the VAB after the wet dress rehearsal? Thanks.
Yeah, Michael, I would just say no. Most of the stuff we're picking up is small or procedural in nature. Some of it is we need to adjust some of the limits slightly, or some of the sequencing or timing slightly. As far as the hardware, Tom said it well. The rocket is fine. The spacecraft is fine. We just got to get through the test and the test objectives, and when we get through the test, we'll see what if any additive work there is. But right now, we're not tracking anything significant.
Thank you. Our next question is from Bill Harwood of CBS News.
Hey, thank you very much. Charlie, is there any way you can maybe give us a better idea of what geysering means when we're talking about cryogenic oxygen? That's just one of those words that will catch a reader's attention. In other words, what is the concern? What actually can happen, and what's the concern? Thanks.
Sure. Well, let's see. Geysering can occur when you have heat that enters your liquid oxygen feed system. And what can happen with that is you actually can form like a large oxygen gas bubble that can rapidly kind of expel. And when it does that, if you think about it, it displaces large volumes of heavy liquid. So LOX is heavy. And so it can kind of create this geyser effect, if you will. The way that we mitigate that is you actually have what we call helium inject, and it uses helium, and you inject that into your feed line system, and it helps to cool it down. That's what we call anti-geyser, is that we use helium to provide that cooling, and so it allows the heat to escape. So I don't know if that helps at all, but that's kind of what the geyser protection is for, is that you don't want a big slug of warm LOX, going into your feed system. We monitor that very carefully because we want to make sure that, we're not creating that warm effect where you can create that big bubble, if you will, that can be expelled and then cause some problems.
Yeah, and let me add, first of all, Charlie, that was a great explanation. It literally is the tricky commodity is LOX, because guys, you can look it up. This is, we're not giving you anything. Hydrogen actually flows pretty well. You worry about leaks with hydrogen, but it's much easier to plug the hydrogen. So, Eric asks about the marathon. I went to school in Boston, and I would certainly say if you're taking a marathon, getting through the initial LOX flow is taking the hill during the marathon. If you can get past that, doesn't mean you're completed your marathon, but it's a pretty good milestone, and that was one of the things they accomplished, is really figuring out how to get through the thing that Charlie just described, which is a tricky part of what we do.
Thank you. Our next question is Zach Aubert from the Launchpad News.
Yes, thank you. Zach Aubert with the Launchpad News. With the restrictions on the launch window for Artemis 1 looking forward, how long is SLS able to stay out on the pad for testing before it really has to be rolled back to the VAB to have enough time for final preparations? And what really are those before it may consider missing its June window, not because of the wet dress? And just a point of curiosity, last night we saw the pad stay dark on the cameras that we were getting as media. Just out of curiosity, why lights weren't turned on? Was it just because the pad was cleared and just being drained? Thank you.
Tom, do you want me to take the how long is the vehicle at the pad, or do you want that one?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, we've got some time. Go ahead, Mike, and I'll add it to the sub. Go ahead.
Zach, I would just say that we do have some time. We've got a load spectrum constraint that is a design constraint, and it assumes certain things. It assumes certain meteorological conditions, certain winds. The rocket is very tall. It's 32 stories tall. And as it sits out there on the pad, when the winds blow against it, it does create a load, a bending moment. So they've factored in a natural environment constraint, and we are well below that constraint. We've got ample margin, not only for the wet dress, but rollout for flight. But that is probably our driving constraint in order to get the vehicle ready.
Charlie said a really interesting thing, and you probably guys said, we got some primary objectives done. One was the range thing. So we don't have normally what we're looking at is, we've got range batteries and stuff like that. That's typically a limiting factor. We got through that test with the range. That's a really big deal. So it gives us a lot of flexibility to be out at the pad. And, really just paced about updating the documentation. Charlie's doing a great job getting that sequence built back into the system. We'll get right back on out there. We'll probably have a date for you here later on tonight or tomorrow, but we'll put a blog out. But it's just a couple more days we'll be back out there. So, and we got plenty of time at the pad. There's no big constraining factor for a while.
Okay, and Zach, to your question about the lighting, I think it was just the contrast with the ambient lighting at that particular time of day relative to the camera field of view. It just happened to line up so that it appeared dark, but I can promise you it is not dark at the pad, regardless of the time of day you go out there.
Thanks, and that's actually all the questions that we have time for today. You can listen to a replay of this teleconference online by visiting the Media Resources tab at nasa.gov/Artemis-1 later today. And thank you all for joining us today. To follow along with updates for the wet dress rehearsal, please go to the Artemis blog at blogs.nasa.gov/Artemis. And you can also view the rocket on the pad with the live video stream on the KSC Newsroom YouTube channel. Thanks again, and that will conclude our call.
All right. Well, learned a couple of things, but yeah, mostly good news. Believe it or not. I mean, that's mostly good news. Okay, so TLDR. Let me get my chair in place. All right, let me kind of collect everything. So, no real big things, no real big problems. Just a couple of procedural things that they needed to figure out. I said it once, I'll say it again. In order for the wet dress rehearsal to go right the first time, everything needs to go 100% right. That's probably not likely. You still have unknown unknowns to deal with. These unknown unknowns could be something as simple as, I don't know, we forgot to open the hydrogen valve by hand, which is what happened. Or that's that's something simple, easy fix. Literally go out to the pad, open the hydrogen valve, done. The other one is the anti-geysering thing with the locks. That's something there's no real way to test that correctly until you get to the wet dress rehearsal, which is why they're doing it. So they ran into some anti-geysering problems with the locks line during chill down. Like they had great explanations. They were excellent. But basically, you know how SpaceX does like a TE purge, right? And I talk about getting the fuel in and out of the umbilicals that go to the pad, right? It's basically that. I mean, I thought something fell. Anyway, so I don't. It's not really an issue. It's just stuff you got to figure out. That's all. There's no issues here. They had to figure out the LOX tanking stuff, and they figured that one out. It's not that simple. I'm betting they have to check the entire valve lineup. I know how much of a pain it is on a ship, but it must be exponentially worse on a rocket. That's literally the opposite of what they just said, John, like a second ago. like that was like 2 seconds ago. They just said no. I mean, somebody asked, like, why couldn't you top the hydrogen? They said there was a hand valve that was closed by accident, and that was the end of the response. So, it's not. That's not like a hard problem to track and fix. The liquid oxygen geysering is something that, they're probably going to have some problems with that. And then the nitrogen, they were tracking 3 big ones. Not being able to flow the hydrogen because somebody didn't open a valve somewhere. No problem. That's an easy mistake to make on your first time. It's always going to be something small. That's the small one. The anti-geysering with the liquid oxygen is the one that I would probably be like, okay, we need to figure out what's going on here. It seems like they didn't purge down the line correctly before they started, or not purge down the line. It seems like the pump was going too fast. Okay, what does that mean? Let me go into my SLS research folder collection here, and I'll show you. I've just got to find a picture of it on the ML. Shouldn't be too hard. Here we go. This is a picture from Vulcan. All right, so the lines aren't on this side. They're on the other side. Do you see those pipes right there? Those are the fuel lines that go up to the second stage, the ICPS. There's like a LOX one, there's a hydrogen one, and then there's gaseous LOX and gaseous hydrogen. There's a return. Gaseous hydrogen return. There's probably not they probably just vent. But, you can see them right there. That one right there, that's the LOX line going to the LOX tank. Or actually, no, that might be a gas return line. I'm not sure. See these pipes that have the foil on them right there? That's actually, yes. Yeah, that is. This is the LOX line right there. See it? And then this one with the gold insulation on it is the hydrogen. That's the hydrogen fill line right there. Now this is the gaseous hydrogen, so a hazardous gas line, carrier umbilical right there, that connects into the ICPSU. And if you note, the gaseous hydrogen line going back, right there, right? That is for evacuating the gas and purging it off, because you have to purge hydrogen gas. Because if you don't have an open flame in your design for hydrogen filling and tanking somewhere, the gas will end up going where you don't want it to go, and it'll find a source of ignition, because that's what hydrogen does. What the guys were saying in the meeting there is that hydrogen is easy to flow, but it always leaks. It's always going to find something that you don't want it to. So what you do is you keep it moving through the pipes. So the big one right there is the LOX line right there, and then the hydrogen line is right there. So that connects into a fuel line that goes down the other side. You could kind of see them through. There's the shadow. There they are right there. So they got to fill these lines up. And when you fill the lines up, despite them being covered in insulation, when you fill them up, they still, you basically can get pockets of oxygen. So you got to do it slowly. They were worried about geysering is probably because they did it a little too fast. It's just slow down the pumps basically, and just make sure you pump more helium in there. It's not, and don't get me wrong, they have to change that, but that's an unknown. You wouldn't be able to predict that until you go and do it accurately. There are some factors here and there like that you can see, but it still takes some time. Also, check this out. See that? 1, 2, and 3. There's your fuel lines. Cool, huh? Actually, there's another one behind it, but you can't see it. See these two guys right there? Fuel lines. Cool, huh? All the lines that are painted white with gold insulation, all fuel lines. These are the fuel lines to the core stage. They go up into the service umbilical right there. See that? 1, 2, and 3, these big pipes. right there, those are that's your water lines. See the water lines right there? And now if you go up here a little ways, these guys right here, there's your fire suppression line. It's red, it always is. And then these are pneumatics up here, pneumatics and HVAC. That's what these guys are, if I'm remembering right. Let's see where they go. Yeah. This is mobile launcher stuff. It doesn't connect in anywhere. But yeah. So, like, you got to pump the liquid oxygen up there, and if it cavitates because liquid oxygen is really cold and the pipe initially is really warm comparatively, right? Yeah, you can get gas buildup in there, and then you overpressure the pipe, and then you get a geysering effect. Geysering effect means psh. Yeah, here, check it out. Yeah, there's the other side. Ready? Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Oh, see? There you go. Pretty cool, huh? So, yeah, that's pretty neat. What is that thing about not being able to make positive pressure with an inert gas around the pad? Burbs. Yeah, they're drones. I missed the context of that question, Swish. They probably don't... Wait, so let me read again. What was that thing about not being able to make positive pressure with an inert gas around the pad? What was the supplier issue? The supplier issue was that they pumped nitrogen too fast and froze the, what was it, an accumulator? They froze the accumulator. They basically just did it too fast. So they had to shut it off for a second, let it cool down, and then filled it again slowly, and it worked just fine. This is just small stuff that you won't know until you go to put the rocket on the pad. That's the reality of the situation, guys. It's stuff that you won't get. They can't test fueling the mobile launcher without a rocket being on it. So you get to run this test basically when you fuel it. Like, you know, they have a good idea about how it's going to work. And honestly, there's no big issues here. There's just small procedural problems that need to get fixed. Yeah, honestly, you know, there's really nothing wrong. I mean, these are just small things, guys. Small things just to get ironing out all the kinks. Yeah. They'll do the wet dress again, and they'll get it right. Or they'll run into another thing that they need to fix. But it's good to get this stuff figured out now. That's what NASA's all about. You figure it out now so you don't have to deal with it later. What's this, Fishio? Wet dress rehearsal is scrubbed for the day. We are unable to provide positive pressure to the enclosed areas within the mobile launcher and keep out hazardous gases. Technicians are unable to safely proceed with loading without this. Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's easy. So down here, so Swishio, the mobile launcher, I've walked inside of this thing. That exact one. See that door? I've walked through that door. Okay? This thing is 2 stories tall. See the door? 1 story, 2 story. Now, you also have fuel lines going through those areas. So what they do, and this is something that's very, very underrated, not a lot of people realize this, is that pads need ridiculous HVAC systems. Ridiculous HVAC. Now, what does that mean? What do you mean ridiculous HVAC systems? Well, let me tell you this. It's the rocket and the mobile launcher have really good central air conditioners. I've seen these things. They have compressors built that are underneath 39B, and I've touched them. I couldn't really take much pictures because they didn't want us taking pictures. They're probably about the size of a smart car, maybe. And what they do is they pump HVAC and then later nitrogen into areas around the rocket, particularly in this area in the mobile launcher right here. And they couldn't fill it up with nitrogen because they couldn't purge out this area, this office building basically. They couldn't purge it out with nitrogen. You don't want to flow fuel through there and have hydrogen accumulate inside of the mobile launcher. Because then when the rocket goes off, it'll find a source of ignition and your pad explodes when you go to launch. Your rocket gets away, but for how long? You know, you want to make sure that this big block that's down there. You want to make sure that the HVAC in there is good. You want to provide positive pressure, so any hydrogen that does leak in there gets pushed out of the mobile launcher. Yeah. I might have a picture of those HVAC systems. Hold on. I don't know. Maybe I can't show it. Maybe I can. I don't know. I'll show it to you on my phone just to be sure. Let's see. We got to go back a little ways. Got to go back a little ways in the photo album. Let me see. Nope. Nah, we really couldn't take any pictures of the, they really didn't want us taking pictures of 39B. I got a picture of the flame deflectors, though. I got a picture of the flame deflector with my buddy walking next to it. There's that. I can show you that. Does that help? Those are the flame deflectors that go underneath. Those were for the shuttle, though. What are they made out of? Concrete? Yeah. The flame deflectors for SLS are there, too. But they did talk about this. The flame deflectors for SLS are a little bit different than the ones on the shuttle. See them right there? Now, if you go look at the Space Shuttle flame deflectors, they're a little bit different. Well, how are they different? Well, look. This one has 2 supports on the back. The flame deflectors are on rails and they roll into position right here. That's part of what they did during the wet dress rehearsal. And when the flame deflectors roll into position, they set themselves down. When they set themselves down, these supports actually jack themselves up and support the mobile launcher because SLS is really freaking heavy when it's fueled. Yeah, heavier than it already is. So they needed additional support underneath the ML. See that right there? Literally melted concrete. Yep. So yeah, Swish, the HVAC systems on the pad are insane. All this is like climate controlled. Everything on the rocket is super climate controlled because of your commodities that you're moving around. Areas that are cold need to stay cold. Areas that are warm need to stay warm. And areas that are warm usually are purged with an inert gas, like, well, nitrogen. And if you can't flow nitrogen in because your accumulator froze because you filled it too fast, it'll basically, ice will accumulate, it'll freeze up, and you'll try to flow liquid through it, and that liquid will basically solidify because it gets too cold. If you try to do it too fast, it's going to freeze, and then you freeze your pipe. And I don't think I need to tell you why you shouldn't keep doing that. Anybody that lives in a place that it's cold knows that you should probably keep your pipes warm. If they get too cold, bad stuff happens. Yeah. Unless you want a basement in your swimming pool. Swimming pool in your basement. Sorry, I said it backwards. But you get the idea. So they basically shut it off, let the ice melt off, and then filled it up again.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I like space things. Also, part of the design of the deflector system is that the new deflectors to send the SRB exhaust into the trench instead of the deck. The old space shuttle deflectors did the same thing, Vulcan. Yeah. These are a carryover. It's a shuttle-derived technology. Scratch that, reverse it. The snozberries taste like snozberries. So basically during the launch, the entire pad is a huge nitrogen atmosphere. Well, inside of these areas where the fuel lines are, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it looks like, I've been inside of that mobile launcher. It looks like a, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if there's any pictures. Well,
Discovery.
Plus side is there's me walking through the door. I don't know how well that's going to show up. Yeah, see? There's that. See that door right there? There's the door. But inside of it, it looks like a server room, believe it or not. Yeah. I'm just trying to find to see if I have any other pictures. There's the launch deck right there. This was way before it was completed, though. That picture I took when I was standing right there looking this way. But yeah, none of the hold down points, the SRB hold down points were attached or anything yet. This was way back in 2015. I'm trying to find other pictures, but yeah, there isn't really much. Anyway. Are you more excited about the terrestrial engineering that goes into making these things? The pad is a very, very complicated part of the launch vehicle. Yeah. It's one of the coolest parts, if you ask me. That's an entire launch pad. It weighs 15 million pounds with the rocket on it, and they move it. They move it out of the hangar. Think about how absurd it would be to store a plane's runway inside and then move it out onto a dirt strip, place down the runway, and then the plane takes off from it. How ridiculous would that be? That's literally what's going on right here. So, yeah, long story short with the green run, guys, there was a couple of things here and there. Couple of unknown unknowns that they encountered, but for the most part, everything is going smoothly. So, you know, I said this before the wet dress rehearsal happened. Like, they're really going to try and test to make sure that all of their procedures are working correctly. You shouldn't ideally learn anything during your wet dress rehearsal, but on the other hand, this is a rocket and a launch pad that has millions of parts. And this is the first time where it's working all together. You're going to run into something. And this is why, like, this is why it's hard to say when the launch date is. Because if if launching is step 10, you don't say, oh, when is step 10? Well, we have to complete steps 6, 7, 8, 9 before we go to 10. 10 isn't the deadline. We get there when we get there. And then the moon has to be in the right place, etc., etc. It's a real Orion, Jim. Yeah, it's a real one. Part of the Artemis 1 test is to send it out into deep space to see how it works. The only thing that this Orion doesn't really have is it doesn't have onboard life support systems, and it doesn't have, like, the seats in the console, and that's about it. Yeah, it's pretty much the real thing. I saw it, Bandit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. You guys You gotta let me finish my explanations before we go and link other things, man, or else we're just bouncing around between article to article. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So, yeah, they're working like 3 big problems, and, well, they've already solved most of them. The nitrogen one is easy. The geysering one is the one I'd be like, okay, we need to make sure we do that right. And they figured it out literally while they were on the pad. And then there's the hydrogen valve not being open. I want to see why that hydrogen valve isn't open, but yeah, it's all right. Will they reuse this Orion? They'll reuse parts from this Orion on the Orion that carries people hand. Yep, flight proven. I hope so, Swishio. The X-59 is being moved. It's the X-59 being moved. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's the X-59. Sure. That's not an X-59. It's not an X-59. Look again. Are we sure? You sure it's the X-59? Yeah, it actually does look like it. You guys might be right. Let me take a look. Well, the blue wrap kind of gives it away, but let me see. Let's take a look. So, oh yeah, they put a bow on it. Nice. Yeah, Banda, you're right. They're moving the X-59 around. Cool. Now, let me see. What do we got here? Yeah, that's the X-59. The trailer and the truck.
Go at throttle up.
Well, you can't see the truck, but the trailer's the same. It's a low boy. See? See the ramp pieces right? Black Horse, get your name off the screen. See the ramp right there? So they're on a low boy trailer. Cool. Yep, that's the same trailer. Nice. NASA doesn't lie. Yeah, DJ, sure. Okay. Yep, yeah, you guys just know everything, don't you? No! 9-month resub. Get your name off the screen! You're blocking my shot! No. That's cool, man. I wonder where they're taking. We spotted this off the I-10 at Citrus. Someone is late with a Christmas present. Oh, the Warzone confirmed that it's the X-59. Well, if the Warzone confirmed it, then it must be true. Yeah, no, yep. Yep, it's got to be true, right? Were they heading east or west? I'm not sure.
Discovery, go at
Sure, we'll figure it out, though. That's a terrible shirt. Yep. And there's not much you can do about changing it, so... Kyron, in the end, I have a bit of complications from Saturday night and another round of surgery tonight. The staff is looking weird at me, changing my mind watching Space News. Yeah, there you go, Kyron. Right on. Respect to the Sox. I hate them, but respect. Don't lie. You Hibbit. Friends don't let friends lie to each other, okay? He's not a Yankees fan, Jim. He probably just doesn't like baseball. It's alright. He hates America. It is what it is. You bleed pinstripes? That's weird. I bleed red. Like a normal person. Just saying. Kintap doesn't like baseball. Yeah, of course. You're a freaking colonist. Of course you don't like baseball, you damn Commonwealth. If you had told us the truth, we would have told you to jam that Commonwealth right up your butt. Free. You called this free. Prominent gifted 10 subs. Well, now I just feel bad. Jeez. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like that is the X-59. Dude... I thought it was something else looking at it. The reason why I'm like, are you sure about that? Is because this looks like something else that I've seen recently. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely it. The T-tail gives it away. Red Sox more like Red Sucks. Man. That's the best you could come up with? Red sucks? That's it? That's it. No. No. I'm not taking offense to that. This joke, you're the one that should be taking offense to the low effort. Yeah, you should feel bad, Dread. Come on now. That's the best you got? I'm embarrassed for Dread. Oh boy. All right. So yeah, we had the Artemis stuff. So not much bad stuff going on with SLS. They're just tracking up. This is a bunch of minor things, guys. I mean, the thing didn't pop, which is good. Yeah, we don't want that. But they are going to delay the wet dress rehearsal. The wet dress rehearsal is getting delayed because NASA has to share range time with Mr. Whiteclaw back there. Boom, baby. So SpaceX is launching the Axiom 1 mission. It did get pushed out a little bit. It was supposed to be on the 6th, but it's not. It's on the oh, when did they move it to? Whoop. Yep, it's on the 8th at 11:17. Yep, we're going to have to be here on Friday, a little bit earlier. My family was here during the revolution, and I don't like baseball. I mean, Gaw, I'm really happy that, this country welcomes dissenting opinion. But it doesn't mean that you're right. Hey, someone has to be wrong. Someone has to be wrong. That's fine. How can you discern right from wrong if somebody isn't wrong? Like, with space news, it's a really good example. It's a really good example to, know what's right because I could separate it. I could separate people with all their crappy takes on how the space program should work. I could separate that. They could be in the wrong pile. And now I know what's right. It's really easy. Yeah, it's really easy to figure out.
Go at throttle up.
Yeah, really easy to figure out. Kyron gifted 5 subs. What are you guys doing? Do you mean the new Twitter majority shareholder? I do. There's data to prove that baseball sucks. You know what? There's data to prove that you suck. Okay? You know what the data is? That comment. That is 100% guarantee that your opinion sucks. Donkey Kong sucks. You know something? You suck. Dread. Schnoid is like, thanks, man. You know, you really are a jerk. Thank you. Thank you. My dad was a jerk. It runs in the family. Thank you very much. Boy. It's not about being wrong. It's about Mikey not being right. Yeah, so check this out, guys. SpaceX actually rolled out today. They rolled out the Axiom 1 mission, the first all-commercial mission to the space station. Commercial operator, commercial astronauts to an international space station. Good enough. Yeah, they rolled out for the AX mission, which is on Friday. The wet dress rehearsal activities will resume after that. So, yeah, we got a nice crew launch, which is pretty sweet, man. Axiom is a private company that's looking to make space stations in the future, and this is how they're going to start getting that kind of unfurled. Axiom will, believe it or not, add some modules to the space station eventually and have commercial astronauts up there doing science along with their international counterparts, which is actually really cool. Really good stuff. Are the pads that close that they need to worry? It's not the pad, it's the range, John? No, the pads are like 2 miles away from each other, 39A and B. But it is kind of cool because we're going to see, you know, you're going to see a Dragon, Falcon 9 and a Dragon 2, sorry. Jaw clicked. There we go. You're going to see a Falcon 9 and a Dragon and then SLS with Orion on the pad at the same time. I'll tell you what I'd do, man. Launch 2 crew rockets at the same time, man. They're damn straight. Always wanted to do that. Hey, Wolfpack, what's up, man? Good idea. More science. I guess the pharma industry. I don't know. NASA has a ton of commercial science ton of science that they need to get done. It's not necessarily commercial. There's a ton of experiments. Guys, the bandwidth is so ridiculous that the bandwidth for science to the station is so small that NASA has like a backlog of on-orbit science that they want to do. And having a commercial destination and having multiple commercial destinations, which is what Axiom will be. There will be Axiom and then there'll be other commercial destinations in the future. Having those will be able to be really easy to, jumpstart a commercial low Earth orbit economy, which is what NASA's trying to do, and that's why they're letting Axiom pay to go to the space station, which is pretty cool. Yep, it is. That's one of my favorite movies, man. I have 8 different bosses, Bob. 8. You know, if I make a mistake, I got 8 different people coming around to tell me about it. Okay, so what about the range is the problem? What? Are they capable of launching 2 flights in close order? They probably wouldn't do 2 in one day, Latigo. And this is what I mean about range priority. So, you wouldn't want to do wet dress operations while another rocket is launching. Why? Because why would you want that as your baseline, guys? That doesn't make any sense. You don't want your baseline data for using all the systems in place while another rocket is launching. What if something from that rocket influences your data? You don't want to do that. So they prioritize range priority, it has to be divvied up. This is one of the reasons why SpaceX built Boca Chica in the first place. They built Boca Chica in the first place so, in the event that there's a range, like somebody else is using the Eastern testing range, they can launch from Boca Chica. That might end up not working out that way, but ironically, because of range violation, whatever. Well, got to save the baby seals, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just a joke. Relax. So, yeah, you want the range pretty much on a day-to-day basis tracking 1 rocket and not 2. It keeps things simple, and stuff that you can keep simple with rocket science, you probably should. It really doesn't come down to any more than that. Nice, Swishio. Yeah, that's the other big news. DeLorean announces new reveal date with teaser image. Oh, that's cool. Not space, but it's cool. What's the difference between a Red Sox fan and a baby? The baby will stop whining after a while. Hey, when's the last time the Yankees won a championship? Oh, 2009. Interesting. Yeah, and I know what you lot are gonna say. We won 26 World Series. Yeah, a century ago. Yeah. How many of you won in this century? Oh, that's not very much. Interesting. Okay. What about when Starship launches 3 times a day? Vasya, that's my theory why the programmatic environmental assessment is taking so long. Because my guess is that the FAA wants to use Boca Chica as a baseline to understand what rapidly launching rockets can do. That's just a guess, though. I think that's the reason why it's taking so long. Because, all these environmental assessments, even the ones at the Cape, I don't think they're taking into account what SpaceX really wants to do. I think that's why the FAA is dragging their feet. People are saying, "Oh, the government is slow." Am I right? And don't get me wrong, I like bashing the government just as much as the next person. Talk about useless sometimes. Jeez. But in this particular case, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. If the FAA does their work and they get it done right, they cross the T's and dot the I's, SpaceX should be able to go unabated and the industry should be able to grow at a rapid pace down the road. You're basically making sure everything's in place before the floodgates open. That's all. This century is still more than Boston. It's not, though, but whatever. Because I need more boost. What does that go? Ooh. Oof. Have you seen the roller coaster ride through Giga Berlin? I've seen it, yes. We can watch it if you guys want. So how are we feeling about that contract for 38 launches that ULA got today? Yeah, okay, 30 different conversations. All right, I'm nixing the DeLorean conversation, I'm nixing the baseball conversation, and I'm nixing the turbo conversation. Let's go back to talking about space. Yeah, but Vasya, that's just a guess. I don't know. Either that or they are being pieces of crap. I don't know. I doubt it, though. The FAA doesn't really do stuff like that. They really try to make sure that, make sure that you're doing things right. It's one of the things that makes the aviation industry in the States so damn safe. All the regulations that the FAA has are designed to have, people not get killed on airplanes. I mean, don't get me wrong. It still happens, right? Can't prevent them all, but it does happen. Have you seen... Okay, so the roller coaster... What if we took a jet engine and bottled oxygen and fed the oxygen directly into the engine's intake? I bet we could get it to work in space. No. What is a jet engine... What does a jet engine take in terms of gas composition, Fonzister? Better yet, if we super chilled the LOX into liquid form, you could carry more of it. Air fuel. Okay, I'm nixing that conversation too. Think again. All right, here. Let's check this out. We'll get to the big contract award stuff in a second, but you guys wanted to see this. So here, look. Shiny Teslas. So Tesla posted this about Giga Berlin. It's actually a really cool video. Here, take a look. Stamping out the steel. Oh, that's cool. Yep, that's cool. I've seen this before. I don't care. It's cool. Now watch. It's going to press it in there and it's going to cut the excess. Going to trim the excess off. Ready? Clunk! That's awesome. Oh, that's so legit. Yep, stage it. Get it on the welding line. There's quality control. What's going on in there? Foundry? Oh, this is the casting press. That's cool. One-piece cast subframe. That's nuts, man. There's the welding line. I gotta sneeze. No turbo, it's electric. Anodizing. No, that's primer? Nope. Could be anodization. Some corrosion resistant thing, I think. I'm not sure. I mean, primer is technically corrosion resistant, but that's another story. Nice. Subframe installation. Subframe carries the electric motors and the battery tray. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. I love factories. You can have any color you want, as long as it's black. It's very satisfying. That's really friggin' cool, man. Look at the discharge. Look at the discharge pipes. That's cool. That's all drainage right there. Really neat. Look at that thing, man. I'll tell you right now, that will not be so clean in 3 years. So if you guys want a breakdown on what all this stuff is, so when they first go in, they go into the stamping presses. Stamping presses are what makes the body of the car. I think. I don't know what these are. It's just something. It's not metal. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so check this out. Yeah, see. Interesting. It looks like the assembly line isn't really complete per se. Because this is, unless that's where you feed the steel sheets in. Then it's just one factory of many. Yep. Have they consolidated a number of pieces for that unibody? I think so, Hellfish. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, I think, which is pretty damn impressive. And 2 of them are the cast subframe holders on the front and back. If you go back to the Y under the car cover, it's missing the side view mirrors. Camera-based mirrors coming soon. Yeah, maybe. Made a YouTube playlist of all the JPL docs for me. Oh. Well, that's going to be useful. Sweet. Giga VFT? I don't know. Okay, so see? You get flat stamped sheets of steel in here. Now, these sheets are cut into a certain shape to be able to take the press, right? So these robots have suction cups on the end, and they just pick it up and they put it down right on the assembly line. If you look, there's stoppers right there. See the stoppers? The stoppers are to center the plate on the belt. See them right there? Those things the conveyor belt will push it into that, and the plate will get centered on there, and then the stoppers will go down and it'll move. And then from there, you'll go down the conveyor belt, the robot will pick it up, and it'll put it in this damn stamping press. This is the coolest part. Look at that. Oh. And there's a negative up there, and there's a positive there, and stamps the metal right into position. That's the side of the car. It's really freaking cool, man. You know how much force you need to do that to metal? That's really neat. And then suction cup robot number 2 is gonna take it, put it over here. This does a little bit further fine detail on the press, but it also cuts the edges off. If you notice, there's metal shears on the end of this one. See it? Right there, right there. See these things? Watch. So when it goes down, it's gonna cut the plates out. It cuts off the excess metal. See all of it fly off? Isn't that cool? Yeah, Bandit. Well, the probe droid assembly line is where they got reference from most likely a car. ILM probably got reference from a car assembly line. Isn't that cool? Smell that, my German friends? That smells like industry, my friends. Ja! Ich glaube. Ja. Okay, so right here, anytime you see something super bright in a factory like this, it's quality. This is QA. So these guys are checking to make sure, like, for instance, if for whatever reason one of these plates goes through the stamping machine, right, and it's not like completely center, the plate comes out wrong, the guy will mark it, and they'll basically recycle the steel. They'll send it out. Like, look, so there's other stamping presses around. You just saw this. This is the stamping press for the sides of the car, so right and left, right? Or left. But you also see that they have, look, they load these, see these white things right here? It's a magazine. Like a gun, like magazine. They load the side assemblies into this magazine, and then they'll take that via forklift to another assembly line, and they'll load the magazine in and just, and then, yeah, it'll feed it into the conveyor belt. Isn't that cool? But also notice, look at how many magazines up there they have of sunroofs. See? Sunroofs? That could be a hood too, I'm not sure. I wish they had QA back in 2018. Yeah, nobody's perfect. See, they have empty mags over there, right? And then they have ones that are full. It's really cool. So from there, they cut the camera, and then this is casting in here. Remember when we looked at pictures of Giga Berlin when it was first being built, and we saw there's just gigantic concrete forms in certain areas? So hold up the casting machines. There they are. See them? See the gigantic, look at this part, the whole casting area is built on a giant slab because casting machines are really, really heavy. Giga Chad Berlin, yep. All right, let's see. What do we got? Yep, that guy's stoking the foundry right there. Stotek. At least I think he is. I'm not exactly sure how this particular machine works. It could be, yeah, we got 2 trays with excess trimmings right there. Wonder why that needs to be manual. I'm sure there's a good reason. Dude, Elon himself has said there's a certain point to which automation just doesn't make sense on an assembly line. The guy that's obsessed with automation. If he's saying that there are certain things that are just better for a human to do, I believe him. These casting machines are sick, though. Look at it. So see these bars? This whole thing moves, and they put the castings together, and then they superheat steel, and then they let it trickle in, and they press it together, and then they let it go, and it opens up. Dude, that's so cool. That's a hell of a casting machine. It doesn't get bigger than that. That's about as big as you get for a casting machine. They cast the entire front and rear underside of the car in the casting machine. See? Oh, that's so cool. But if you look, yeah, look at that. That is unbelievable. That's such cool engineering, man. But if you look, take a look. See, there's excess where it's designed to leak. Basically how a casting machine works is like you have vent holes, right? So like, think about it like a cast, like the negative space for a casting, right, is like filling up a bottle with water. There are holes on the sides. Now why? Why are there holes? Well, the holes allow the air to get out. They allow the air to get out, so when you see liquid coming out of the holes, that means you know that to that point the casting, there's no air in the casting. So you don't get air pockets when you try to solidify one of these freaking things. So see these, there's like little pieces with excess trim, and yeah, you see all these jagged edges on the sides? Those are the holes. Those are the reliefs for the casting, which is, dude, that's so cool. That is some pretty hardcore industrial engineering. See him? See it right there? Injection molding steel, pretty much. I don't know if these are aluminum or not. They kind of do look like aluminum, but they could be steel as well. I thought if they were making Model 3s, then it would be aluminum, or it would be steel. Model X's and Model S's have aluminum. Yeah, see? In this, if you look at how much cleaner the casting is. They already trimmed off all the excess. Kuka. Gee, what a coincidence. We saw Kuka machines being offloaded at Boca Chica a little while ago to help automate welding, doing circumferential welds on Starship. Gee, I wonder where they got those. I wonder where those came from. Huh. The company that makes the casting machines has a little series about it. That's cool. The Giga Press. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. How expensive are the Kukas? If you have to ask, you can't afford it. Here, let me see. Let's see a close-up of that casting. Dude. Wow. I mean, I really appreciate the engineering here. That's cool. But man, if you get in a fender bender, your car is going to get totaled. Because once you crack this casting, the car's a write-off. Unbelievable. Yep, see? There's the trimmer right there. See it? This thing trims off all the castings, and they come out here, and then a robot takes them and moves them somewhere else. Do you know that trash can in Hungarian is Kuka because of the brand? Seriously? Nice. Yeah, right? Hellfish should be pretty cool. Your company uses Kuka robots to package Tide Pods? No way. Yep, see? And there, look, these robots take the things off of the magazine. See the magazines up there? They literally belt feed these things. Like, it's one magazine right after the next, and it's kind of like belt feeding, even though a magazine kind of is not belt fed, but you get the idea. And then the robots will put the pieces together. See? There's the left and the right pieces that we saw get stamped. And then Teslas have a forward cast subframe and then an aft cast, a rear subframe, and then it looks like there's internal structure there too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's probably a back piece too, so 9. 9 pieces. And then the robots will put them together. Yeah, see, there's the top piece being put up there. See it up top? That's the roof. They're gonna... It's gonna place it in position, and the robots will... They'll spot weld it. See? That's what that is. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. Dude, I could look at this all day. Something about a car body assembly line. It's just seeing all the robots and stuff move. It's very appealing for the eyes. Now, see these guys? This is quality inspection. Make sure that all the spot welds came in correctly. Make sure that they're all lined up. You measure distances between spot welds. Make sure the weld is good. Any imperfections, these guys send it back. Send it back. Melt all of it down. Make it again. Henry Ford would cry seeing this. You know what? He would love it, Badger. He would love it. Henry Ford would see this, and you know what he'd probably say? Wait, that does all that automatically? I don't have to pay people? Excellent! It's probably what he'd say. He would love it, man. No doubt. Yeah, tears of joy. Oh, yeah, he'd appreciate this. No, he would probably really like this. The technology, he would like the technology. Henry Ford is a big friggin' nerd. Big nerd. Yep.
Discovery, go and
Check it out. And if it passes, they'll put it up on this conveyor belt. Now this right here is the assembly line. That's what these pieces are for. They'll put it on this tray. And I think this is anti-corrosion. I could be wrong, though. They could be galvanizing or anodizing the metal. It's possible. It could just be primer. It looks like primer, to be honest. You sound like Mr. Burns. Jackery. What's up, man? Yeah, Law Dog, it is. It is what he'd say. Yep. But see, they're washing it after it goes out. It wouldn't be paint if they were doing that. So this is some kind of corrosion preventer or something. I don't know. So what automakers do, believe it or not, is they heat up the metal. Let me see if it's there. Let me back it up a little bit. There's usually a huge easy bake oven before they dunk the car, because if you heat up the metal, the paint or the corrosion resistant or the primer or whatever adheres to it. Yeah, it's right there. You can see the easy bake oven. It comes out and then it takes a right and goes in here. Yeah, this is a corrosion protection. Yeah. Yep. Zzz. Yep, and then you wash all that off. And then I mean, they didn't show it, but it would go through a paint booth. You'd prime it, and then the paint booth would apply 3 coats of paint as it's moving down the assembly line. And then, after that, they'd bake it again. They'd put it into another heater and let the paint cure. This is post-paint over here, I think. Either that or these are the painting robots themselves. It's really hard to say because they don't show it too much. There's a team meeting. You got to remember, is this good for the customer? Judging by how everything is windowed off, the paint room can't have a lot of foreign object debris in it. So paint booths for cars are like payload changeout rooms for rockets. They're very clean. A lot of HVAC stuff going on. A lot of positive pressure in here. So I'm going to guess that this is probably the paint booth. Looks unsustainable. How dare you? All right. Yep. See, now this is QA for painting. I'm wondering what's over there on the left line. What does Schlott mean? Germans? No data. What does that mean? Trash? That one didn't pass QA. Schrott? Schrott. Schrott is trash. Didn't pass QA. Send it back.
Discovery, go at
Blazing 4 years. Yep. This is they're inspecting the paint. So in here, here's what they'll do. If it got past metal QA, fellas, they'll look at it, right? And if they see what's called a high spot or a low spot in the paint, they won't send the whole thing back to be painted. At this point, after you paint it, that's really a step you don't want to go backwards from, because that means you got to get all the paint off and then you got to paint it again. They don't really do that on the assembly line too much, because you don't want to backflow an assembly line, right? So what they'll do is, if the paint came out really bad, they'll just junk it. They'll junk the car. But what these guys do, and I'm trying to see if it's there, they should have markers. So, let's see if the guys walking around here have they should have like a felt tip pen. They'll circle all the blemishes, and then guys down the line will try to buff it out. Note that you have buffing compound and some rags right there to buff stuff out, and then you have touch-up paint. See it over there? And then also, for the keen-eyed, notice the air horn. If the air horn goes off, that means you stop the line. See? They got touch-up paint right there, buffing compound, and then some buffing rags. And then there's a buffer on the shelf right there. See it? So guys will circle it, and then they have body guys come in, and they'll buff the paint out to get it nice and flat to make sure it's nice and uniform. That's part of the reason why they have these lights and everything, because the reflection shouldn't be too wavy. It should look like looking in a mirror. Yeah, see, I know about cars. I know about cars and paint. This is my wheelhouse, man. Yep, there's that one cast piece that we saw getting trimmed, right? There it is. And it looks like they did something to the top right there. See that? It looks like it's been hit with a wire brush or a flap disc or something. Note that the inside of the car is not too incredibly painted. The reason why these components right here aren't painted yet is, believe it or not, there's going to be a floor right here, and they don't need to. That's going to be boxed in, right? The battery is going to be beneath it, and more steel is going to be above it. They'll probably install the floors through this cavity right here, or up through the back, because there's supposed to be a trunk right here, or well, not a trunk because it's a Tesla, right? This whole thing right here, the casting holds the motor and everything via a subframe out the bottom. They're probably going to install the rest of the floor this way. In fact, the way this thing is kind of cast looks like the floor comes up and in. But see, yep, these guys got buffing rags, buffing compounds. Let's see, do they have markers? Let's see, do they have, trying to see if they have like a felt tip pen or something. No, that guy doesn't. He's just, he's got an MLB hat on. Cool. Yep, and this will tell you what the color is supposed to be coming down the assembly line. Not that you needed to know that. That guy's got a buffing rag, and he's like, oh, 9 Citron! Woo! Yeah, see, the guys down there are the guys that would have the pens. Yep, see, they're looking, making sure all the doors, the reflections and everything are all good. That's really cool stuff. And to be fair, like, just in case you guys don't know too much about factories, every automotive manufacturer does this. This right here, the reason why I know is because I mean, I love cars and factories, but also toward multiple automotive, well, not multiple. I've seen multiple automotive plants. They all look the same, but I've been inside a couple of them before. All right, so now, see, this is way further down the assembly line, guys, because look, the cars have the floor in them and stuff, and they also have the interior in them. This is final assembly here. So if you look down here, they stage the battery pack, the front and rear motors with the suspension, and then they're usually on what's called a subframe. So there's like this cradle of steel that kind of holds the motor and the suspension, or the bottom parts of the suspension in, right? And then there's a cradle for the battery pack as well. And then there's a cradle for the front. The two cradles for the front and rear subframe go up and they bolt into those cast pieces. See the suspension? The suspension is touching nothing. They bolt into the cast pieces, and then the cradle bolts into the cast piece. And then the battery, I don't think the battery has a cradle either. On the Model X, I'm not sure. But, so, these things are, notice that this is an overhead conveyor belt. See that? It's an overhead conveyor belt. It's carrying. This is a regular conveyor belt, like stuff on top, right? The conveyor belt, on the conveyor belt, this whole thing, these whole, like, platforms move. And they move with each other. So, like, you'll have your overhead conveyor belt and your under conveyor belt, and they'll both be moving, and then the overhead conveyor will go down, and the car will just find its way onto the chassis. And then all the guys on the line need to do here is just step onto the platform while it's moving and bolt everything in. It's actually really freaking cool, man. It's fascinating to watch. Now, I'll be honest with you, the line is stopped, but oh, that's sick, dude. Okay, check this out. Little thing on ergonomics here, okay? The top conveyor line does go down, but they lift up partially the bottom conveyor line. Do you know why they do that? Ergonomics is the key. So you don't have to bend over to freaking put the thing down. So the guys that are working on the line they won't have back pain in freaking 40 years from bending over all day. If you raise it up to level height, it's easier to install. And that saves you money because these guys, one, you don't have to pay for their freaking medical bills later. Two, you're not, hurting your employees. That's probably not something you want to do. Three, it gets it done faster. Even if the guy, like, kneeling down to go and tighten something up, that takes 5 seconds. That cumulatively adds up over time. That adds up to hours. Hours and hours of lost production. Even doing something little like this, like lifting the entire frame up into position so these guys don't have to bend down and hook it all together, is smart. That's really smart industrial engineering. Take it from somebody with back pain. You don't want that. That's really freaking cool. Oh, that's so cool. See? And the guys have just wrenches, just drive all the pieces together. And they do this whole thing that all these guys are standing on, it moves down the assembly line. Isn't that cool? That's so freaking legit. I think that's so neat. Now, see, the mad lad did it. That's awesome. Yep, see? And this whole freaking thing, note that it looks like a train station. Because this is the train. These guys are riding on the conveyor belts. Isn't that cool? That's so neat. Sorry, I've seen this working in real life. It's freaking fascinating. You don't even need to like watching cars get put together. I guarantee you, if you ever go to like a plant and you see the assembly lines moving, you'll just sit there and go, whoa. Huh. That's weird. It's like hypnotizing to watch. It's very weird. That's right, Staples. Yeah, ergonomics for your workers, dudes. Very smart. Yep, and this whole platform just moves down the line. And it's not just Tesla. Everybody does this. Here. So, that lady's like, what is that? Let's see. So, okay, there's the battery pack. And look, see the hole that I was talking about? Or the hole for the floors? We didn't see it, but that's what they did. They used the spot where the inverter is. I think it's an inverter. Or the fuse. This is the fuse box and stuff. All the cells are underneath here. They used this spot right here to move the floor, the back floor of the car in. See, it's already in this picture. And then they install the battery. They'll install the floors, and then they install the battery after it. That's really neat. And it looks like the back of the battery is serving as part of the seat tray for the rear seat. Because you can see there's brackets on top of this thing. See that? 1, 2. That's what holds the rear seat up. That's really smart. And then you can see the trays for the front seats right there in the center console. And obviously the steering wheel. There's the screen. Yep. Another cool thing to note, guys, just for the people that don't know, like, okay, you have like your seat belts and stuff already installed. But check this out. This is post-dashboard installation, but they don't have the seats in anything installed, and they definitely don't have the door. Well, the doors are... The funny thing is that, okay, so before I get into that, I want to say one other thing. Look, the car doesn't have any doors on it. Why? They take the doors off. When they go into final assembly, one of the first things that they do is take all the doors off of the car. And then the doors go down separate assembly lines. They go down separate assembly lines for the left and the right side doors. And those assembly lines are in parallel with your main line. Why? Because they get in the way. If you had the doors on here, you wouldn't be able to put the seats in. Take it from somebody that's put seats in a truck and a car with the doors on. It's a pain in the butt. But I'm not about to take the doors off because I don't have an assembly line, right? In my garage. I mean, maybe someday. That would be nice. So the doors are in a parallel assembly line getting all the pieces put on, like all the switches and all the latching mechanism and everything. And the door, well, Tesla has not a door handle, but you know. And then, once they're done putting like all the seats in and everything, it'll go through QA, and then they bolt the doors back on, and it'll go through QA again, and then you're done. Isn't that cool? Another thing to note, now also, the doors are off, but when they're putting in these interior components down here, look. The top of the car is bubble wrapped. See that? It's all bubble wrapped. 1, so you don't freaking hit your head on it. And 2, so if you're putting a seat in or something, you're not going to bang this thing up and break it. Because remember, that's finished paint. Car's already painted. Can't scratch the paint at this point. That would be bad. If you scratch it, no one's going to buy a Tesla with a scratch off of it brand new. I mean, someone probably would, let's be real. See? There's your door assembly line. There it is. Isn't that cool? It's a parallel assembly line. It moves right next to the cars. I always thought that was really neat. It splits. See? You got the car driving down over here on the assembly line. Guys are putting the stuff in. And then on this line, you have the guys putting all the guys and girls, putting all the doors in, right? And they're moving right next to each other. That's so freaking neat, man. And depending on what options the car has, if it's dual rotor, single rotor, whatever, that's what those screens that say no data on them and stuff, that's what it'll tell them. So the guy will look at the screen, say this has option 1, 2, 3, and 4, take option 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of a parts bin, and these parts bin have their own assembly lines that feed them. Yeah. They have, see right here, there's a belt over here, and then see these things? That's a sorting system. So, like, you don't want the latches to go where the switches go, right? So the parts get moved in crates, right? And the crates have a code on it, and it works like a baggage handling system at an airport. It'll make sure that the guy that's installing latches gets more latches. It'll divert the crate down here, and if you notice, this thing is tilted, right? It's tilted, and the crate will slide down into position. So the guy looks at the screen, says it's option 1, 2, 3, and 4, looks at, crates that say option 1, 2, 3, and 4, grab option 1, grab option 2, grab option 3, grab option 4, put them on the doors, door goes down the line, on to the next guy. That's really freaking cool, man. See? Yeah. And see, some of these things have extra options, right? For the lift, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that is. Maybe a lift gate or something. But see? And then when they're done, check this out. This gets even crazier. If you guys notice, these two things right here, 1 and 2, are tilted down towards the front. This one right here is tilted down towards the back. Who knows what that does? Cantab, what I've seen here from Tesla thus far is not anything that I haven't seen from any other factory. You look at every factory, it looks like this. Yep, that's the crate return down there. You take the crate when it's empty, another one slides into position, you take it, put it down here, it slides out, goes back on another conveyor belt, back to wherever the parts are stored in the factory. Really, really cool stuff, man. That's really neat. It's like McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah. What made fast food, Tom, that's actually very interesting that you say that. You know McDonald's was, the idea behind like fast food literally came from two guys that I forgot their names. They're not McDonald's. It came from two brothers that, in a van. No, they had the idea of applying a car assembly line to making food. And it works. And it works very well. That's how fast food got invented. Because the guys that started McDonald's looked at it and said, oh, we could do that with hamburgers. Hamburgers and fries. And McDonald's still does that to this day. It's literally an assembly line. Same idea. Check DMs when you get a chance. Okay. Cool. Check that out in a moment. Chris Mack and Mike Donalds. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's the name here. Yep, see? There's the return down there. They'll take it. It'll go on an assembly line going out. Or a conveyor belt going out, dude. This is awesome, man. And see... Oh, looks like there's some doors over there that didn't make the grade or something. They're off the line for a reason. And if you note, the doors are on this special type of rack, right? And the rack is grabbed from the top, right? But if they need to stop the line and something, because they saw something that they didn't like on the door, they can lower it down onto a jig, onto this cart, and move it out of position. Or maybe it's waiting for something else. I don't know. Now here, what do we have here? This looks like final QA right here, if I'm looking at this correctly. So... yeah, see these? See these things left and right? Those are conveyor belts. Cars roll down the line. But they roll down the line on their tires. I know, Goodyear, it is. QA, who does that? Yeah, whatever. Look, man, it took Ford, it took Chevy, it took Toyota, it took Honda, everybody else. Like, it's something that's really hard to get right out of the gates. Give Tesla time. It'll be perfect. I know someone we know, Elon, it'll be perfect, or he'll have a freaking fit. Yep, these guys doing final inspection, making sure that everything is put together right. And then they'll make sure that the car drives. That's the last thing. They will roll the cars off of the rolling assembly line to make sure it works. Now, what are these guys doing? That guy's doing final cleaning. Any fingerprints? That guy's getting everything off the car. Any oil from where somebody touched the paint? It looks like this guy is doing software. Maybe he's loading up self-driving into it or something. I'm not sure. This is the Tesla part that I'm not sure about. I don't know what that guy's doing. And then, see right here? The assembly line ends right there. That's the end of it. And then they drive the cars off the line and then they stage them. See? Actually, over here is something that probably didn't pass QA, most likely. Because if you look, all these cars have they have build sheets. Well, those could just be the build sheets. I'm not sure. But I'm fairly confident that the car doesn't go straight out that door because there's a warehouse in there. So let's take a look. Let's see. So they drive the cars out. They take a right. But another thing to notice is that all these cars are facing backwards. They're all facing this way, which is strange. 25th flight on Mars incoming. They did helicopter on Mars. It could be someone, yeah. See, they have lifts out here. See the 2-post lifts? They have car racks right there. You wouldn't need a lift at this point unless there was something wrong. So it's something that you need to change. Now, see, this right here, that looks much more like how cars should look rolling off the assembly line. All the cars are facing in the same direction, and they're all kind of staged like they came off of an assembly line. Those other cars over there, back here a second ago, here, let's just... Yeah, this looks like additional QA to me. Because, once again, look, all the cars are all facing in different directions and stuff. Like, some are backwards and some are on lifts. Which begs the question, where do the cars go when they come off the assembly line? Let's take a look. They might go straight out that warehouse. I mean, this Gigafactory is still being built. That's the thing about Elon. He builds the assembly for the factory, right? You don't wait until the factory is 100% assembled. You wait until the factory is like 50% assembled, and you build the factory inside it while you're building the building. That's how he rolls. Building the factory is just a step in car production, which is weird, because that's the thing that kind of makes Tesla a little bit different. I'm sure Ford, Chevy, Dodge, I'm sure everybody else does this, but I don't think they do it to this extent. Yeah, building the factory is just another step to mass production, which is really weird. That's a weird way of thinking about it. A way to mass produce the machine that builds the machine. That's why Tesla can ramp the way that they can, because of that, which is actually super cool. If you look at Tesla's production numbers, it was like, through 2018, and then it goes, ding. It looks like Twitter stock, am I right? See what I did there? Anyway, yeah, the machine that builds the machine, man. It's very, very cool. Yeah, I think this is QA. I think. Yeah, see, let's take a look here. See, this is fine. These cars all passed quality. I'm trying to see what's over there. Yep, see, this is final inspection. See these grates right here? Those move. Now, want me to really blow your mind? Where the tires are, those move. But where the tires aren't, here, here, and here, that also moves. The whole thing is a giant conveyor belt, but where the tires are, the part of the conveyor belt that the tires are on moves at a differential speed. Crazy, right? That whole thing is a conveyor belt. Yeah, Hunster, me too. Yeah, Ford is building a gigafactory for the people that want to know. Seriously, Ford's building a brand new factory in Tennessee, a gigafactory to make electric vehicles, which is really freaking cool. Fourth Doctor, 9 months, cleared the tower. Yeah, see, you could tell because see the bolts in there? You know that's all assembly line. So the cars, the whole assembly line is moving, but the cars move a little bit faster. And then the assembly line ends. And look, all the cars over here that are on the lifts are in this shot. This is the same thing. They're all gone. Which tells me that they drive the cars out and to the right. There's a garage door over there. And that probably leads to a test track. High five! High five! Let me look at the warehouse. This is something I know. I know about warehouse logistics. That's the last thing that I did before streaming. What I'm looking around for is any guide marks for robots. I don't see any automation here, though. They should have, like, lines painted on the floor for where the robot will go and grab something off the shelf and put it on the assembly line. But it doesn't look like they have that just yet. Hey, T-Man. Yep. Heavy-duty loading dock right there. So when the truck backs up, what this thing does is it raises up, and then underneath here, another grate kind of pops out, and then you put it down, and it makes a bridge into the trailer. And then also, yep, they have the HVAC stuff. They have the HVAC stuff installed. What this is for climate control. So if you have an air-conditioned building, right, which you need when you're offloading freight from a truck, you're going to sweat inside of those trailers. They get really, really hot. And then in the winter, they get really freaking cold. Speaking from experience. This thing seals up against the back of the trailer to make it so no cold or warm air leaks out. Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? It basically makes a seal against the back of the trailer. A heavy-duty loading dock like this is being installed at Roberts Road. Yep. Man, that's cool. Oh, man, that's so freaking cool. Look, factory isn't even done yet. You see that? The factory isn't even done yet. It's not even finished. They're making cars. This thing's spitting out cars, and it's not done. See what I mean about the machine that makes the machine? Isn't that crazy? And then look at this. So it looks like... All right, I'm trying to trace this in my mind. So this is sub-assembly because, the drone came in, right? And it took a right out the... Hold on. I need to see something. Very satisfactory. The factory doesn't need to be done. It needs to be done enough. Bingo. I could watch assembly lines all day. Industrial engineering is so freaking cool. I want to see where this drone goes. Okay. So their assembly lines are going left to right in this picture. So the assembly lines are going this way. They're going from right to left. Okay, see the part with the raised roof over there? That's casting. We know that that's casting from the pictures that we saw, because remember the big concrete abutments that we saw in there? That's the casting part. So that tells me that the lines are going this way, right? They go this way, and then they all turn. It's a 90-degree turn to the right. And then, because there's loading docks on this side and loading docks on this side, these are probably all the parts for final assembly. So like handles, they're probably not made here. Either that or they're made in those factories over there. And then when the car goes to the right, you're feeding sub-assembled parts in on either side. That's really freaking cool, man. I'm trying to map it out in my head. Yeah, that looks to be about right. And then the reason why there's so many loading docks is because these are just interfacing points between sub-assemblies. So goddamn cool. Oh, that makes me so happy. Look at that thing. What a beast. Where's the train? Oh, I don't know. Look, factory isn't even done yet. So freaking cool, man. Giga Berlin from space. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really enjoy that. I love seeing factories work. It's amazing. That's so cool. The Germans, you should be pretty proud of this. This is good, yeah? Rocket factories are better. Whatever, man. Whatever. I like all factories. Like, dude, look at this. I watch this all day. Oh, that's so gnarly. So, another thing that I didn't notice before, there's a huge cage. There's a huge cage right here because the whole assembly line moves, but they don't want people anywhere near the robot that's going to swing the 1-ton chassis around. There's only a cage, and the cage is only big enough to fit the car through it. Oh, that's so cool, man. Dude, look at this thing. That's so legit, dude. Oh, I can watch this all day. That's so cool. Yeah, that's definitely painting. Yeah, T-Man, something like that. Oh, man, that's so neat. I mean, RB, that's what paint booths are, dude. They're just clean rooms. It's interesting, guys. The assembly line was stopped. The line was stopped when they filmed this. There's not many parts of the line that I see moving, which means they like I said, they probably filmed this. They probably stopped the line for a second just for the drone. Because I see a lot of people standing around in the video. See? Either that or you're between shifts. That's what it is. It's between shifts. Yep. Wonder how long it takes to go from start to end? I'll bet you they can... Less than a day, Gujar. Less than a day. Auto manufacturers have gotten car manufacture down to where a car rolls off the line like every 15 seconds, which is unbelievably cool. Literally, you go from a bunch of metal to a car in 3 or 4 hours. That's ridiculous to me. That is ridiculous. How many people are employed there? I'll bet you it's a lot. There is no between shifts usually. The line never stops. Yeah, Jock. I mean, you could be... I mean, I don't know how you guys do it over there. Yeah, but ideally you wouldn't want the line to stop because then you lose your momentum. Yes, assembly lines have momentum. Absolutely. Yeah, look at that bumper on the top left, Jock. And yet a car still costs an arm and a leg. Factories ain't cheap, Creeper. And you know what the crazy thing is, dude, is that, believe it or not, cars don't make that much profit off of cars. Seriously, the margins are really low. In fact, some cars are sold at a loss. They're called loss leaders. Sometimes a car company will make a car that they will never see a return on investment for. It's true. Sometimes that happens. It's called a loss leader, but it's brand recognition that you trade. So for every car that you don't profit on, you get brand recognition. I'll give you a very good example. How many people know what that is? When I was in, you just waited until the person from the next shift showed up. There are like 5 breaks during your shift, though. Is that a Supra? The Bugatti Veyron. No, that's a Chiron, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Piece of junk? Okay. It's a Volkswagen. Brand recognition, man. That's why they do it. They do it. Sometimes automotive manufacturers build cars just to say, look at what we can build. If we could build this, look at our other cars. Dude, they've been doing that for years. I'll give you another example. I mean, this example was a little bit more of a spite story, but hey, whatever. I mean, Enzo, it's not my fault Enzo's a stubborn Italian. There you go. There's a loss leader right there. I'll give you another one. Think Chrysler made any money off selling these? No, but they won NASCAR races, and that led to make another car or selling more cars. True story. Oh, I love it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. What? Sorry. I haven't seen, I don't watch Donut Swishio, but I know, well, Ferrari, I know, Swishio, that Enzo never wanted to make cars. He hated making street cars. He thought street cars were a waste of time. Ferrari made cars to finance racing. That was Ferrari's original business model, to make cars to get the team enough money to race. It's kind of bad. It's kind of flipped nowadays. They race and people buy their cars because they win races. I'm a Ferrari fan. It hurts. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why Ferrari started. Enzo hated making street cars. He freaking hated it. Comparatively to Ford, right? Ford very much just made street cars, you know. It's interesting. They say that half of the time their income is from non-car products, basically Ferrari hats. If you can't buy the car, you buy the hat, Swishio. I mean, where is it? Give me a second. I gotta find it. There we go. Not a bad marketing strategy. Merchandising. You put the name on everything. Something interesting. JAXA just released the number of people who applied to be in the next class of astronauts, and they had over 4,000 applications, comparatively to only 900 in 08. So more proof space has gotten more popular. Cool. How much did you pay for that logo? Those were a present, but you get the idea. But yeah, it's really cool. Lost Leaders is what they're called. Chevy's been producing the Corvette for the better part of a half century. A little bit more than that, actually, 1953. Chevy never makes money off selling Corvettes. They make money off of selling other things. And they did it again with the C8. Think about how much of a pain in the butt it was to re-engineer that car to put an engine in the back. There's no way they're making money off that. But it's brand recognition. Yeah, it's really smart. Smart way of doing things. Didn't Dodge do the same thing with the Hellcat? Yep. Dude, Wintersight, Dodge handed out Hellcats to influencers. Just to get their name out there, and now everyone knows what a Hellcat is that likes cars. Everybody's like, oh, the Hellcat, that thing is amazing. That thing's amazing. Dodge is great. True. What's TTT? Tuesday Tarkov with Taradra. Where's your Hellcat? I don't consider myself an influencer, but I also see your point. I should probably call them. Can I link one of the coolest Corvette photos ever taken? It has rockets. It's the Apollo 15 picture of the Apollo 15 crew with the three astronauts that went to the moon for Apollo 15. Yeah, of course. No. All right. Oh, well, that's neat. Not as cool as what I said, but yeah. Yeah, that's actually another thing to tie it back into space news. Chevy sold astronauts. If you were an astronaut, Chevy would sell you a Corvette for $1 just because Chevy wanted astronauts driving around in Corvettes. True story. What may or may not be true about that story is astronauts drag racing down the crawlerway at Complex 39. I mean, let's face it, astronauts are a little bit of astronauts are speed demons. So, you're an astronaut, you're going to go to the moon soon. You have a 67 Corvette with a, 67 Corvette with a 427 in it at Muncie 4-speed. And you got it for $1. I mean, I'm not saying that that's true or not. All I'm saying is that Gus Grissom did a little bit of drag racing on the side, all right? That's all I'm saying. The Crawlerway is a long, straight road for 2.5 miles from the VAB to 39. Well, there's a little turn at the end, but it's a long, straight road for 2 miles. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Can we do that, but with Teslas? Yeah, maybe. I mean, drag racing on rocks? There's a road on the side, you dope. Yeah. Not saying that Gus Grissom and Pete Conrad didn't race their cars around KSC. I mean, KSC has a lot of really long, straight roads. And what are you going to do? You going to pull over an astronaut? You going to pull over an astronaut? Do you want to be that guy? No. Nah, just, you're fine. It's not like it's an open road. Yeah, I know, Sniper, right? Fast and Furious. That's right. But that's really cool footage, guys. I was really hoping that somebody would bring this up so we could look at it, but man, is it cool. This is really neat. Look at that. Look at that. Chunk! Love that noise. Freaking metal brake. Listen. That's cool, man. You know how much force you need to push down to do that? Oh, that's awesome. There's a reason a lot of the roads at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station are banked. Yep. Would the skid strip be a better drag strip? No, it's not long. It's not. The crawlerway's longer. Can I just go one more time? This is really amazing. Yeah, 10, right? Dude, look at that friggin' casting press, man. I mean, I know we just looked at it, but jeez. That's hardcore, dude. That's so damn cool. Oh, that's so neat. Look at it. Hell yeah. I'm almost wondering if what I said about the rear floor isn't right. But I could be wrong. God damn, that's cool. Sure, Canadian. Can't even imagine the old days of making a car. It's all done by hand. Damn, that's cool. Now look at GM's plant. I'll be honest, guys. Everybody's plant looks like that. Everybody's plant is that clean. Everybody's plant is that... They all look like that, dudes. They all do. I mean, you're probably not going to get drone footage like that from another plant, and I highly doubt that other plants have a casting press that big. But yeah, I mean, they used to. When automakers nowadays make motors out of like steel and aluminum and stuff. But back in the day, they had casting presses. Casting presses are probably not that big, but they cast engines and stuff. And I don't know if it was done in a press. It may have just been sand casting. Doesn't matter. Still cool. The robot used at the casting can lift 400 kilos. That's heavy. Okay. That's like 1,000 pounds. Yeah, all right. Nice. Yeah, Geek. They probably would have poured it into a cast. Yeah. Still cool, though. I mean, that casting press is gnarly, dude. It's so freaking sweet. Can I just see it one more time? I just want to see it again. Dude. Look at the hydro cylinders on this thing, Geek. How much force do you think that thing has, dude? Oh my goodness. Those are thick hydraulics, man. Cool, Thomas. Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet. RV last. Okay. Nemetko, sorry, I don't know if you already covered it. I wasn't able to watch it for a week, but Dmitry Antonov, yeah, I saw it, Nemetko. It's depressing, dude. I can't look at I don't want to look at it on stream. It's too sad. Also, that clock is amazing. Creeper, I like that a lot. Yeah, an injection. It is, yeah. It's an injection molding machine for freaking aluminum. Oh, man, that's cool. It's cool, but actually, Geek, I said it once, I'll say it again. What happens if you get rear-ended and this casting cracks? A $100 fender bender can total the car. I would actually be curious to ask about that. Yeah, you buy a new Tesla. Yeah, I hope they have like a crumple zone in there. Knowing Tesla, they probably know that. So here, actually, let me look at the back flanges on the car. Do they show it here? I'll bet you they have a crush core or something in there, or a crumple zone. Yeah, see that flange, Geek? There's a crumple zone ahead of the casting. Okay. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. Here, let me see the assembly line one more time. Yeah, see right there? See those big flanges right there? That's clearly not the back of the car, right? The back of the car is probably about a foot behind that. Yeah, okay. I see what they're doing. To make up for the... Because if you crack the casting, you're screwed. You can't fix castings. You can't weld them back together. It won't hold. Castings really don't do well when you make them they don't do well with welding if you cast something. Generally, I don't know. Actually, I'm not 100% sure about cast aluminum, but I would guess that it's probably something similar. But see, there's a huge flange right there. There's a crush core. I'll bet you they have an aluminum crush core or something similar to Falcon 9. Yeah. See the front? The front is it's the same thing, dude. See that? See the casting right there? See the front of the casting. Right there. It's a big flange. It's a big flange. Yeah, there's a crumple zone. That's why. I mean, don't get me wrong. You get in a good enough if you get in a big enough head-on collision to get into the casting, then the car's probably going to be totaled anyway. So that's cool. I was wondering about that. Like, if the casting is part of the structure of the vehicle, what happens if you crack the casting in a fender bender? No. Tesla thought of that. See those big boy flanges back there? There's a huge crush core in the back. Just think it as a modular aluminum unibody. Pretty much, yeah. That whole subassembly bolts right to the casting, and it's probably designed to crumple. Cars have crush cores in them, just like Falcon 9, guys. Same thing. It literally is the same thing. They probably don't use an aluminum honeycomb, but you drill holes in steel in the right spots, and it stays structurally strong, right? But if something hits it, it'll crack. Or it'll crunch. That's what it's supposed to do. The idea is you take the kinetic energy that pushes the car from a head-on impact, and you make it go to the sides instead of going back to the person in the car. That hurts. This kills the human. Here, actually, it looks like we got a close-up of it for a second. Yep. Something big and heavy bolts to this thing. Cool. Smart. Very smart. Let me look. I'm just looking at the front subframe and stuff. Huh. Yeah, T-Man, it's not an aluminum honeycomb, but it's close. It's something like that. It's usually made out of steel. You'd make those components out of something that's not expensive to make, like steel, so it's easy to replace. So you can have an aluminum chassis with steel crush cores at the front. Steel will take the brunt of the hit. You just take the steel off, put new steel on. It keeps it inexpensive if your Tesla gets into an accident. Yeah, see? See, that's smart, man. That's smart. Geek, I see that and I see it, well, at least they give a frick, you know what I mean? Because if this went right to the rear bumper, I'd be like, dude, why would you buy that? But no, they're smart. That's cool, man. Oh, that's so cool. Let me just back it up just a second. I could look at this footage all day, and we should probably stop before I end up doing that. That's really cool footage. I'll link it again in chat for anybody else that wants to see it. Isn't that neat? Okay. So, all right, so there's two more big things to discuss. Yeah, Geek. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. There's two other things to discuss. So that's going to go over here, and that's going to go over here. This is Space Symposium. There's that. Oh, we already did that. We already got that.
Discovery.
We got the X-59. I got Axiom 1. Hey, Yoshi. What's going on, buddy? 3 months. So. All right, we'll discuss the elephant in the room. So, 2 days ago in an SEC filing, it was confirmed that Elon Musk bought a 9.2% stake in Twitter, and he is being appointed to Twitter's board of directors. That's...
Discovery, go and throttle.
Oh, man. So, Real Big B, 20-month resub. He is the single largest shareholder. Already considering trying to get an edit button, and now they can't ban him. He pulled an Al Chervik. Who knows what I'm talking about? Al Chervik. Yeah, this whole place sucks. The only thing I'm even coming through here is because I might want to buy it. Buy Bushwood? I won't allow it. This place sucks. He's getting no respect. Oh, this is the worst looking ad you ever saw. You buy an ad like this, suppose you get a free bowl of soup, huh? Oh, it looks good on you, though. So what? So let's dance. He's pulling an Al Chervik. Twitter's like, Elon, you can't say that. No, this whole place sucks. The only reason I'm here is because I probably should buy it. Buy Twitter? I won't allow it. Wang, what are you doing? It's a parking lot. Sorry. Do you know why they put him on the board? On the board, he's only allowed 14.9% of common stock. It basically stops him from buying the majority. The edit button isn't Elon's doing, plus it's behind a paywall right now. So, now that everyone is asking, yes, we've been working on an edit feature since last year. No, we didn't get the idea from a poll. Sure you didn't. Okay. I literally went to college on the caddy scholarship that Noonan was going for. So that movie is like imbued in my cells. Nice. It's a great movie, man. Yeah. Wait, is that true? The shareholders at Twitter can't get banned? I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, he bought it, and yeah. Well, here. First of all, I got to turn the AC on because it's getting a little hot in here. But the reason why it's getting a little hot in here is because now Elon can just be spicy on Twitter all day. So what is this? Somebody, who's Mark Anderson? I don't know. Technology brother. Okay. So this is a Washington Post article that says Elon Musk's Twitter investment could be bad news for free speech. Elon Musk just bought a $3 billion stake in Twitter Incorporated because when you're the world's richest human, you can toss billions around like poker chips. The Washington Post said... Ironic. And... Oh my god! What is happening? What the... Oh my god. What is even going on anymore? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It's like I've been saying. At least it ain't boring. You know, like, what is happening here? Oh my god. I don't know, Cantab. I don't know, man. Half of Twitter is like Elon will ban free speech. The other half is like Elon will allow too much free speech. They can't make up their mind. Twitter not agreeing on something? A website where you're designed to say stuff about things, not agreeing on saying about things? Wow. Wow. What's going on? I don't know. I don't even know. Like, should I have a hot take about this? I think it's just, this is ridiculous, man. Like, what's going on? Oh my god. I don't think limiting speech has ever been a concern with Elon. I don't, yeah, Yarg, yeah, I know. Fork, it's your second birthday, 24 months. Thanks, man. Twitter disagreeing about something? A website where you're supposed to speak to people? Agreeing about speaking to people? What? This guy's gonna invert the internet and the universe might explode. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Geek, I know. He's been alluding to that for a very long time, so it tells me, you know what that tells me? You know what that tells me? Five-head move from Elon. Elon cashed out all those... Oh, that makes perfect sense. He cashed out all that Tesla stock to stick it to people that said he doesn't pay enough taxes, and then he used that money to probably buy Twitter, citing free speech as a concern. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's... Wow. That's really smart. That's really funny, man. Oh my goodness. I don't even... How does that... Dude. Wow.
Discovery, go and
Wow.
throttle up.
He used that money for taxi, yeah, right? He also donated billions. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Kev, all the subs. Thanks, man. Pay my taxes and become the troll king. Five-head move. What's next? He buys the FAA? You can't buy a government institution, to my knowledge, but I don't know, man. Yeah, App State. Some billionaires get, you know, some billionaires go and say, I'll make my own. You know, it's like, nah, just buy it. Just buy it. Oh my god. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make that stuff up. Once again, it's an Al Serving. Why, this whole place sucks. The only reason I'm even here is that I'm thinking about buying it. Buy Bushwood? No, I won't allow it. Tell that to the FDA. No comment. Not touching that one, Neo. I'm gonna go make my own Twitter. It's gonna have blackjack. All right, I'll just buy this one. Yes, I will take one social media platform, please. Guys, sometimes I peruse the internet to shop around for the social media platform that suits my needs. Yep. Yeah, I'll buy that one. Yeah, that one right there. Dude, unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Through his companies, he's energy independent and communications independent. What else? I don't know, man. You want to catch up with those fries? Yeah, I'll take, yeah. Please. Just, I don't, the absurdity of it is ridiculous. Like, Iron Man literally makes that joke multiple times in the MDU. Elon is Tony Stark confirmed. Dude, if he came around with like an Iron Man suit, drummer, like out of the blue, he's like, yeah, I've been working on this in my spare time. I'd be like, yep. All right. How'd you get the arc reactor working? Just, I got a guy. Like, yep. Hey, Zay, how are you? Yeah, we're talking about how Elon Musk bought, like, controlling stake in Twitter. It's really kind of funny, actually. I can't believe that. Hey, all right. What about an electric jet? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Zay, right? Yeah, I know. I don't know what you're going to do to fix that cesspool, but all right, whatever. It's great for space news. Just saying, If you ask me, Elon should take Tesla into the nuclear industry. Maybe he should. I mean, Elon said himself, it's not just solar. Solar, wind, water, nuclear all working together. Couple that with battery storage, you're good to go for a long time. Now that I can get behind. That's smart. Also, this is the first time Elon bought major stakes in a company he didn't control. No. He did that with Tesla. Galaxy, that's not true. He did that with Tesla. Elon didn't start Tesla. He bought into it because he wanted to invest in making electric cars. And then he just memed his way to the top. True story. Didn't he do that with SpaceX? No, SpaceX is his company, Illness. NVG. And he reveals the Iron Man suit just before his fight with Weidman. Did he really do that? Did he really call out? Yeah, he did. That actually happened. Yeah, okay, that wasn't a dream. Yeah, that's true, Box. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, not a late, like, already developed company. Yeah, good call. Did he merge SpaceX with another company early on? Maybe that's what we were thinking. Not that I know of. Solar City and Tesla merged. But he did that to unify the manufacturing, if I'm remembering right, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Solar City is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Tesla. I mean, Solar City is what Elon's brother started. Kimball started that, if I'm remembering right. And then they just merged it all into one thing. He bought his brother out. And I'm sure Kimball was crying all the way to the bank, man. He was crying all the way to the bank, bro. Do you think that the Dynetics lander could have won if it was a two-stage lander design? I think that makes more sense. I think the idea wasn't fleshed out enough, RJ. That's why they didn't get it. They just didn't have enough time to dial it in. Isn't his brother on the board of Tesla? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Bought him out and made him a board member. Or he probably gave him a stock option. That's probably why he's on the board. I don't know. You'd have to go look. Can we change the laws to allow Elon to become president? I wouldn't, Geek. Not because I don't want to see Elon being president, but, there's this thing about just willy-nilly changing laws in this country that, certain guys that started the country kind of warned against, As much as I love Elon, I like that more. Just saying. I'm sorry for the off-topic thing, but did you see the new QA from Railroads Online? Tunnels are becoming a thing. I have an Alucard. No, just Elon, no one else. Yeah. Geek, as much as I love the guy, One, I don't want to see Elon getting hung up in politics. It's much more funny, and I think he does much better work if he just crap posts about them all day. Just saying. Everyone, for what it's worth, crap posts about everybody. No prisoners, man. I think he does much better in that role, and I wouldn't. And honestly, no, I wouldn't want to do that. Don't change the Constitution. Bad idea. Bad idea. Who do you want to see as president? Poof. I have no idea. Mickey Mouse, maybe not. No. That would have been funny until recently. Go Donald Duck. I don't know. I have no idea, man. I don't know. Tory Bruno? Now that's an idea I can get behind. He'd probably be really good at it, Hokey. Me. I want him. I'll be president. That's fine. See, the thing about being president, right, is that you say one wrong thing and everyone hates you. Yeah. Yeah, it happened to the last guy. Also happens with this guy. Yeah. Hey, I don't want that. Yeah, no, I don't need to do that. No, I'll just keep running my Twitch stream. Jim Bridenstine? I don't know, man. Jim would probably be a good president, but I don't know. Anyway, guys, I don't want to keep talking about this. This discussion can easily devolve into people calling people names in chat. And one thing I don't like doing is pitting chat against each other. Only sometimes. Except if it's Yard. You can tell him he's an idiot all you want. No, don't do that. All right, so there's the 37th Space Symposium going on? 37th Space Symposium is going on in Colorado right now. And there's some big freaking news coming from it, okay? Hey, Narc. Thanks, man. So there's some big freaking news coming out here. This is absurd. So Amazon, all right? Yeah, Amazon, not Blue Origin. Amazon, here. Let's just, dude, I could tell you, I'll just show you the Space News article. You wouldn't believe me. So this is Jeff Faust over at Space News. He's one of the best in the business for reporting about space news. Jeff's amazing. Check this out. In the largest commercial launch deal ever, Amazon is purchasing 83 launches, 83, from Arianespace, Blue Origin, and ULA to develop most of its 3,236. I don't know why I said 32,000. All right, 3,236 satellite Project Kuiper broadband mega constellation with contracts worth to deploy. Sorry. My brain went bananas for a second. The contract worth several $billion. Amazon announced on April 5th the agreements to a launch of an unspecified number of satellites on Ariane 6, New Glenn, and Vulcan Centaur rockets for over 5 years. The launches are in addition to 9 Atlas launches it purchased from ULA a year ago. Amazon did not disclose financial terms, but it said spending billions of dollars on these contracts is part of the constellation's $10 billion overall cost. Securing launch capacity for multiple providers has been a key part of our strategy from day one, Rajiv Badyal, Vice President of Technology for Project Kuiper at Amazon, said in a statement. This approach reduces risk associated with launch vehicle stand-down and supports competitive long-term pricing for Amazon. This is the kicker. Amazon is buying 38 Vulcan launches from ULA. 38! Holy shnikes, man! That's a lot. What the frick? Oh my goodness! And guys, there's even crazier information. I'll tell you about it in a second. We'll see if the Space News article covers it. That's unreal, dude. Yeah, I know. Thomas, basically what happened. 38, yeah, right? Direct competition for Starlink. That's right. The agreement includes additional investments in launch infrastructure to support a higher flight rate, such as a dedicated launch platform for Vulcan launches of Kuiper satellites. ULA will make its own investments to support processing 2 launch vehicles in parallel. They're upgrading Pad 41. They're going to build another mobile launcher for it. It's going to be 3 mobile launchers for Pad 41, dude. What the frick? Because there's 9 Atlas launches on top of that. They bought 9 Atlas launches and 38 Vulcan launches, man! Holy shnikes, dude! That's ridiculous! That is unreal! Dude, this contract is worth more than an SSL. That's so insane to me. Jeff Bezos his contract pays more than the Department of Defense. What in the actual frick? Oh my goodness. What the hell? Like, I'm not even mad. That's ridiculous. Dude, how does this even happen? Oh my goodness. If only Omega was still around to get a launch contract. Shame. Shame. And ULA will buy another ship for transporting rockets from Decatur. Oh my goodness. With a total of 47 launches between Atlas and Vulcan, we are proud to launch the majority of this important constellation. TB, what a Chad. How did you pull that off, man? You freaking legend. You freaking legend. Oh my goodness. You get a satellite constellation, and you get a satellite constellation, you get a satellite constellation. What he's trying to do? Build an internet satellite constellation to compete with Starlink. Unbelievable. Pulled it off by not being SpaceX, pretty much, Hunster. Unbelievable. The Ariane space deal includes 18 Ariane 6 launches, a contract that Stefan Israel, chief executive Ariane Space, described in a statement as the largest contract in his company's history. Blue Origin is selling 12 New Glenn launches with an option for 15 more. What in the actual frick is happening right now? How frequent will Vulcan launches be now? As much as Falcon in the coming years, literally as much as Falcon. They're building another mobile launcher, RJ. They're building 2 Vulcan MLs, one for Department of Defense missions and one specifically for Project Kuiper. Is that unbelievable? That's nuts, dude. Amazon declined to provide details about the launch agreements, including the number of satellites each vehicle will carry. Beyond Gravity, formerly known as Rug Space, will build satellite dispensers for the Kuiper satellites at a new facility in Speed. And what's Project Kuiper? The Internet Satellite Constellation. That's amazing. That is so ridiculous, man. The launch will take place over 5 years. The launches will take place over 5 years, but Amazon declined to state when the launches would begin. None of these vehicles are currently in service. Both Ariane 6 and Vulcan are scheduled to make their first launches this year. Blue Origin has not announced a revised date for the inaugural New Glenn launch, but noted at the Satellite 2022 conference in March that it would not take place this year. You know, this makes a lot of sense. We haven't heard anything about New Glenn and stuff. We haven't heard anything about New Glenn because Blue Origin we know that they're working on BE4 testing. Well, there's your reason. They're going to need a lot of engines. Yeah, you probably should just focus on that part for right now. I think space is going to get crowded. Indeed. Yeah. There's your reason why we haven't heard anything from Blue in the last, year. Because they're kind of... New Glenn is kind of on the back burner. They probably put all their money into BE4 stuff. Which is unbelievable. "5 years to build Gary's SLS. Bets on Musk Starship to Mars before Project Kuiper sells its first internet sub. I think that Project Kuiper will happen a lot faster than you think, guys. So here's the thing. With Elon Musk, you get kind of a trickle to what he's doing. He always tells you what he's doing. He always tells you what's going on. You know, we get pretty much unprecedented access into what he's doing with most of his companies, right? Jeff Bezos is a little bit different. Jeff will say nothing. Any Amazon company will say nothing. They will say nothing until they have something to say, like this. So don't be surprised if this Project Kuiper thing becomes a thing a lot faster than you might think. Guys, there's gonna be literally daily launches out of the Cape. Daily launches out of the Cape. That's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Unfreaking believable. So, there is some other things. So, ULA is building more, ULA is building another mobile launcher, etc., etc. But let me just find it here real quick. "24-hour space news cycle when?" Pembo gifted us up to Narkberry. Thank you. Nark, welcome. Weather won't allow daily launches, though, will it? It might not, Axel, it might not go to daily. But still, though, that's pretty crazy. Give me 1 second. So, did anybody hear... did anybody hear Thomas Zurbuchen in the Space Symposium when I was playing Railroads a little bit earlier? Thomas Zurbuchen said, "Oh, we're also working on an experimental inflatable heat shield that United Launch Alliance is working on for us." Gee, why is ULA working on a heat shield? Why is Tory Bruno teasing us with smart reuse? Uh-oh. I think, so Tory Bruno always said in the past that if there is a market for launching a lot of Vulcans, that he would consider smart reuse, because reusing rockets only works in scale. Starlink has proven that, right? But the business has got to be there to make that kind of investment. Well, there you go. I mean, it's going to be at least weekly someone, which is unbelievable. To most efficiently fulfill its launch commitment. This is coming from Irene Klotz, Senior Space Editor at Aviation Week in Space Technology. To most efficiently fulfill its launch commitment to Amazon, ULA is moving ahead with a program to recover Vulcan B4 engines for reuse. Confirmed reuse from ULA, baby. I have another question. You know what this is? It's Coggers. I have another question. If ULA is pursuing first stage reuse or first stage partial reuse, I wonder what's going on with Centaur 5. ULA is going to have some pretty good profit to invest in reusability in the future. Here's a video I saw earlier on B4 development. Interesting. Aces would be a nice comeback. I think it's happening, Hell Hydra. Okay, so a random thing. Would this mean that the second ship would act as a hub for recovery as well? I mean, maybe, Thomas. Maybe. Link to that tweet real quick. What's Centaur 5 again? ULA is up. It's Vulcan's upper stage, Joho. It is a 5-meter Hydrolox twin-engine upper stage. 2 RL-10s. A 5-meter Centaur stage is nothing to be trifled with. That's almost as big as a Saturn V's third stage and way more efficient. It's crazy. Guys, this is... I don't think people realize how big of a freaking deal this is. 38 Vulcan launches over 5 years. That's absurd. So what are the differences between Centaur 5 and Aces? Centaur 5 is basically a bare bones version of Aces, someone with the ability to be upgraded to Aces later. ULA has been on the fence about this. They've been back and forth with it. I have a feeling that, they'll probably take some of that development money. There's some of that huge profit that they're about to make and, I don't know, develop second stage reuse, anticipating a future cislunar economy, which is what which is what ULA is, I know, right? Elon is talking about it too, to be honest with you, which is what Tory Bruno has said that he wants ULA to do. They want to take up some of the cislunar economy, so gateway logistics, I'd do it. Northrop Grumman's going to need a way to get that Cygnus out there. Just food for thought. Night, Sun Temple. 38 launches over 5 years is 7 to 6 launches a year. Yeah, okay, we probably won't get daily launches, Solar, but weekly. Between Starlink, Project Kuiper, crew missions, Starship, SLS, holy frick. That's what I meant when I said daily missions. You're not going to get daily Project Kuiper missions. No way. That's not happening. But between every single launch provider down on the Cape, it's going to be ridiculous, man. It's going to be ridiculous. Oh, that's so freaking cool, man. It's so freaking cool. Please make more rockets. I want more rockets. More. More! More! That is absolutely insane. Yeah, Rocket Lab, that's true. They're not launching out of the Cape, though, T-Man. Throw an Astra in there for small stat. You still dedicated to watch all the launches? Geek, if I have to get someone else here, right, and we have to do a 24-hour space news cycle, like someone said, we'll go. Dude, I'll go full CNN, not full CNN, never go full CNN, but you get the idea. I think we're on the brink of a new era in spaceflight. It's insane. It is insane, dude. 38 launches, 15 new Glenn launches with the option to exercise 15 more. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Dredd, you did say that. Yeah, if we have to do it that way, that's fine. Never going to be able to go back to a regular sleep schedule. I do need more money for that house, Far Night, so I'll sack some sleep for a little while if we have to. It's very clear. House offer didn't go through, guys. They wanted to take the house to market, by the way. Not good news, not bad news, but I came to a realization. You know what that realization is? I need to make more money. But I'm not going to ask for it. So expect content on this stream to go into overdrive sooner rather than later. This is certainly going to help that. But I'm sure you already knew that. That's what turns me on about you, chat. Your attention to detail. How can I be getting this work done with all the rockets? What's with all the rockets? Elon Musk, I am China of rockets. You want to talk to the rockets? You talk to me. Oh, that's a lot. Gifted us up a box of pins. Yeah, content overdrive. I did not ask for it. You lie. This person? They are a liar. You lie. You sit on a throne of lies. Anyway, what? More Hearts of Iron? It's possible, Yoshi. It's possible. I have been avoiding playing Hearts of Iron because, doing war things in a video game is cool when there's not wars going on. Yeah. No, EJ, I sit on a chair that's seen better days. All right. Yep. That's not going to happen, Dado. They're just tentatively scheduled there. Great ace reference, thank you. Pretty sure there was also news that Arianespace would use an upgraded version of Ariane 6, which has the P120C Plus boosters, which still needs approval from the EU, but I'm pretty sure they're going to give that now with the huge contract. Dude. Jeff Bezos, Thomas, I will say this right now. Jeff Bezos just single-handedly saved Arianespace. It's true. We know. But wars always happen. Yeah, Tomas. Yeah, I know. Hot take. Thanks for that. Yeah, see that whole thing right there? That's what I'm trying to avoid by, not playing Hearts. Yeah, that whole thing right there. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid hot takes like that. Thank you. Yeah, it's not something we didn't know. Poor Russ Cosmos. Oh, geez, that's right. Don't worry about it, Tomas. It was just an example, dude. That's why I don't want to play it, dude. I don't want to deal with chat. It's too much crap for the mods to deal with, man. Man. Dumping that one web contract really, Yeah, so that's why Aryan Space didn't really care when that happened. You notice that? They're like, we're pulling our technical personnel out and no more Soyuz launches from Kourou. And Aryan Space was just like, all right. Now maybe, Yoshi, I don't know. Are there any Chinese commercial space companies or just government? They're state-owned commercial space companies, Kentab, as opposed to a government institution, but not in how we think about it over here. No, there's no wholly owned private spaceflight companies over there. Can EJ has house now? It needed to be 350, man. What's wrong with you? Now I can bear. Now I can't. Give me $3, dang Loch Ness monster. Gonna get 350. Rogozin seems not to care either. All right, have fun, Ando. Like he can have fun doing whatever he does over there. Aryan Space is just like, all right, bye. See ya. 50. Here's your 50. Thank you. Now it's 350. You need a goldfish to invest stock for you. Maybe we could write code, and have. Whatever side of the tank that the goldfish swims to, we'll say what stock to invest in. And then we can compare that. We'd need appointed data right there, right, to compare it to, or else how do you know if the fish is making good investments or not comparatively? How about we write a neural net to, not a neural net, we write an algorithm like for Wall Street bets, and over 6 months of investing, we compare the two, and then make a crap post YouTube video about it. And then also have some acne too. Nah, Mike's cool. Michael's awesome. That guy's the friggin' man, dude. Guy makes me so happy. Here, we're gonna sit here and look at the code, and it's gonna be long and boring. And I probably won't. No, screw that, man. I don't give a frick what you think. I'm showing this code right now. It's so funny, dude. I love that guy. Man, dude, he's been within a couple blocks of my house, man, because that Boston Dynamics video where he made Spot piss into a cup. I forgot about that. So RB, it's a YouTuber named Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves is a self-taught programmer, and he uses code. He shows off his technical expertise by memeing things. He made a spot, so on his Twitch stream, his chat bought him an Atlas robot, or not an Atlas, a Boston Dynamics robot, and they bought him a spot, and then he made it piss beer into a cup. And then he drove across the country to Boston Dynamics and made it piss on their patio. That's so damn funny. I'm not kidding. Michael Reeves on YouTube. It's the freaking funniest YouTuber ever. Dude, it's freaking hilarious. The surgery robot is still my favorite. Take that, Boston Dynamics. He made it piss beer on their doorstep. Oh, man. Yeah, the surgery robot's one of my favorites. It's really funny. I'm like, dude, that's such a good YouTube channel. I'm not even gonna show it on stream. It's already been linked up in chat. You guys go and watch. I wouldn't show it on stream out of respect because Michael's freaking hilarious, dude. Love to meet that dude someday. He's funny as hell. Dude. Made it piss into a cup. So goddamn funny. Like if you put a cup down, the spot robot will walk over to it, center itself on the cup, and then pee into it. And it pees beer. So funny. Oh my gosh. The latest video he did was he has a goldfish, right? And he has a goldfish, right? And basically he had a bit of code that pops up with a stock, right? And then the goldfish, if it swims to the left or right side of the tank, decides whether to invest or not invest with that stock, right? And and then he used Wall Street Bets as a control group. And basically any meme stock that went through Wall Street Bets, that same algorithm also invested it, and he compared the goldfish choosing to Wall Street Bets, and Wall Street Bets ended up like after 6 months at like minus 500, and the goldfish was at plus 1,000. So stupid. I love it. Yeah, it's Frederick. That's right. Yeah, Frederick. That's right. Frederick's a genius, man. It's so funny. He brings it to like stock investors and stuff, right? And he goes, "Is this a good portfolio?" It's just the goldfish portfolio, and the stock investor's like, "Yeah, this is a very well diversified portfolio. Whoever did this really knows how to play the market." And he's like, "Oh, that's good. It's my goldfish." Oh man, what a legend! What a freaking legend! Yeah, no, Creeper, I lost it, man. They're like, "Wow, this is a great portfolio." I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." Oh my god. It's freaking legend, man. Frederick is a legend. We are average Frederick appreciators here, Zay. Yeah. Go watch the video. I'm telling you. We'll switch over to Starship coverage in a second, but go watch it. It's so funny, dude. It's Michael Reeves. Sawyer. Michael Reeves. Reeves. Guys, dude, watch his videos. They're so good, man. The guy is like, yeah. The guy would be like what happens if the internet cumulatively as a whole was an engineer. Yeah. Yeah. Really funny, actually. Yeah, there you go. RB linked up the channel. Oh, boy, is that funny. Yeah, exactly, Creeper. He looks at Wall Street Bets and he's like, this one kind of sucks. Yeah. He streams on Twitch, too, if I'm remembering right. He streams, what is it? I think it's like offline TV or something. Any SLS stuff? I haven't heard anything. We started Space News with SLS stuff, T-Man. Jump back in the bot a little ways. Oh, man. I can't, dude. That's so funny. But that's actually even funnier right there. Oh, my goodness. $38 Vulcan launches, dude. 38, and ULA is doing smart reuse confirmed. This is like freaking Christmas, man. 38 in a row? 38. My launch provider launched 38 rockets in a row? Hey, try not to launch any rockets on your way through the parking lot. Hey, get back here. Yeah, boo. That's unbelievable. I'm, like, so ridiculously happy. Over the moon, man. Not literally yet. We need that thing to do that. And you know what? Blue with Vulcan, right? Vulcan is going to reuse their first stage engines. So they're going to get data and analysis on reusing them and refiring them. Guys, I'll tell you what. Until SpaceX started bringing back their launch engines, no one had ever done that. No one had ever brought their engines back. It only happened like maybe once or twice with like a couple of Titan stages and then a couple of H1 engines. No one had brought their flight hardware back to analyze it. You just get the telemetry, which is fine. That's good enough. But when SpaceX, I'm telling you, when SpaceX was able to get their motors back from their first stage, they were able to learn and understand what you need to reuse them, what needs to be done to reuse the dang stage. It was a huge step forward in reusability. This is why SpaceX could just crap out engines left and right nowadays. Because getting your flight hardware, no one had ever done that. NASA did it a couple of times 50 years ago, right? No one had ever done that before. I mean, with the exception of the space shuttle. The space shuttle is the exception to that. But, like rapid reuse. I'm talking about like not taking the motor apart every single freaking time and putting it back together. That and a Merlin 1D engine and a fuel-rich stage combustion cycle are very, very different. Those are two different engines to reuse. That's like that's like saying, oh, this diesel motor is comparative to this inline 4-cylinder that's gasoline. They're both motors, but they're not the same. You know what I mean? Like, that's why that was such a huge deal. Like, even like with the space shuttle involved and stuff, getting your motors back in mass like that and rapidly reusing the motors, that's what the shuttle, actually, the funny thing is that that's what the shuttle was supposed to do. But they ended up not doing it, right? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it wasn't mass-produced, Magellan, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. I know that obviously the shuttle, right? There's the shuttle. But what I'm getting at, I should have clarified it a little bit more. Sorry about that. But, getting your flight hardware back in mass production like that is going to be really useful. And you know what Blue Origin's going to do? They're going to coordinate with ULA, right? And they're going to, that every one of those BE4s that comes through, they're going to examine the crap out of it. And then, you know what? All of a sudden, New Glenn's going to come along. And the BE4s on there will be like fully reusable. It'll happen out of the blue. And we already started to see the ball rolling. If I'm remembering correctly, they did work on Jacqueline, the Stena freighter. There's a Stena freighter that was a car ferry that Amazon bought, and this is going to be New Glenn's landing ship. They're not going to have a drone ship. New Glenn's going to land on this thing. Out of the blue, Origin. Up! See? And they're converting it into a rocket recovery ship, man. Yeah. They started doing work on this thing again, which is unbelievable. This is ridiculous. It's all going to coalesce. This is going to take a second to get going. They said it wouldn't happen this year because they have to start. First thing you got to do is start mass producing satellites and payload dispensers. It's no offense, a bit of an upgrade from rafts. Well, the drone ships aren't small, Narkberry, but yeah, I know what you're saying. The footage of this landing is going to be insane. That's right. I don't know how that will work. You can't have staff on that thing when the rocket lands. Why not? Planes take off and land on ships all the time with people on board. Why not a rocket? I mean, you're going to need, now, B-Money, what you are going to need is one heck of a fire hose. If that thing goes, if it doesn't land right, you're going to need a big fire hose. Yeah, because fire is bad for ships. Yeah, very bad. Very bad for ships. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that they're going to have people on that ship. Either that or maybe they won't. I don't know. Maybe it'll have a little yacht that like pops out the... That's what the yacht is for. Am I right or am I right? No, I'm just kidding. And a very strong midship firewall. Bingo. Luckily, they're close to a rather large source of water. Nah, it needs to be potable, you argue. You don't want to hose your ship down with salt water. It's pretty bad for it. Last, also the ship will get a helipad on it, which will likely be used for offloading crew ahead of the landing. There you go. Cool. Speaking of the Stena, yeah, that's what I mean. I saw that tweet, Thomas. Yeah. Some guy, like, look, they started ramping up. They started doing work on it, and they're adding whatever the heck that is. More progress on the stern extension on the Blue Origin landing ship. So are we going to have to make this in, are we going to have to add the Stena? Are we going to have to add Jacqueline to the, look at that. What the heck are they doing to that thing? Does this have to, oh wait, we already have it. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, got to build Jacqueline in there. Those are for ballast, I think? Yeah. Yeah, I would say you're right. They look like ballast tanks. Would you take a trip on a Virgin Galactic flight? If they adhered to their own flight criteria, Niroku, yeah, eventually I would. I would much... I'm sorry, like, I don't mean any disrespect to Virgin Galactic. If I had a choice doing suborbital tourism between New Shepard and Spaceship 2, I would choose New Shepard. I want the launch experience, the 5, 4, 3... I want that. Yeah, if I had to choose, like... No offense to Virgin Galactic. Like, if I had the opportunity to do either one of these things, yeah, absolutely. All marine fire suppression systems are based off of salt water. The cost of making enough fresh water for fire suppression does not make sense at sea. What do they hose the planes down with on aircraft carriers then, Zeppelin? Yeah, fed up. I agree. Yeah. Virgin Galactic has the cooler and more clever design, though. I mean, the point that I'm trying to illustrate here is that that's not entirely true, Zeppelin. It's not all salt water. It's not saltwater foam. They hose it with fresh water because they can desalinate from the nuclear reactor. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're gonna let the civvy tell you that? Pity. You thought you could outwit the imperious force of planet Spaceball. Pains me to say this as a Brit, but Virgin Galactic have pursued a dead end. Blue Origin have the better design. Yeah, I can't have... Oh, they flew outside of their TFR, man. That's the problem. They flew outside of the TFR. And the FAA grounded it. And that sucks, because it's a good design. It's not bad. I mean, if I had to choose, like I said, I want the rocket launch experience. You know what I'm saying? Cosmic Gurgle Burr. Different company, T-Man, but yeah. Anyway, guys. That's the last big thing of space news. You guys want to go see what's going on with Starship? So we got smart reuse confirmed from ULA. That doesn't suck. That it's pretty good. Not 100% destroyed. I saw Dimitro's video, Kem. Blades are still spinning in the wind. Dude, did you see? Okay, all right. I have to show Dimitro's footage. I have to. I have to because the Cessna. Did you see it? Excuse my ignorance. What is a TFR? Temporary flight restriction. I have to show you. What did I say about the 225? I said that if the 225 wings are okay, that's going to be a part that they could probably reuse when they're building it, if the wings are okay. The wing box on the 225 is totally destroyed, which sucks, but the wings are all right. And and this is not me, I said that, but it was confirmed. The pilot of the Antonov 225 went and found a picture of, or not found a picture of it. He went and looked around Hostomel, but check this out. So, he said the same exact thing that I said. Check this out. So, it's a little bit hard to look at, but the Cessna sacrificed itself so the dream could stay alive. Now, that's hard to look at. I really don't like that. But check this out. When he goes over towards the wing, look, check this out. Look at the very end of the wing. Hey, Ismik, what's going on? In pain. Ah, yeah. Look, the Cessna. It saved it. It's like, I'm saving you, buddy. Look. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's holding the wing up. It saved it. The wing would have fallen into the ground and destroyed itself, but this little plane saved it. Oh, that Cessna should be in a museum. Look, oh, it's like, I got you, bud. I got you. I'm trying. It saved the wing from crashing into the ground. It saved you. That's amazing. It's like, I'm helping. Am I doing okay, Dad? Am I doing okay? Was I a good boy? You were the best boy, Cessna. You were the best boy. Dude, seriously. It crashed into the Cessna, and the Cessna held it up, and it prevented the wing from crashing into the ground. So the wing on the 225, the left wing is totally intact. We love you, Cessna. We love you. What a beast. He's like, it's like, I got it. I think I'm all right. You're busy looking at the pushback? Oh, yeah. Cessna Crush Core. Isn't it detached on the other side? It's holding it up, dude. Straight up, holding the wing. It held the wing to prevent the engines from crashing into the ground. Here, let me back it up. Oh. The entire left wing. That Cessna is holding up the whole left wing. And it kept the wing intact. That's so awesome, man. That's so awesome. The little Cessna that could. No, the Saturn 1 stage has been destroyed. Well, that just ruined my day. But the Cessna, though, that's cool. That little Cessna held the entire wing up. Is the tail still reusable? Dude. I'll link Dimitro's video here if you guys want to go look. I'll link up Dimitro's video there if you guys want to see. It's hard to look at, especially if you like planes. But the Cessna holding it up was cool. But in terms of that 225, that airframe's junk, guys. But there are usable parts.
Go and throttle up.
Per the pilot, everything needs to be evaluated. You got to take, dude, every part that you take off of that thing, you got to take the whole thing completely apart. Take it all apart and examine it down to every nut and bolt. Because that's the thing about reusing parts off of planes that have crashed. It's not going to work exactly how it was supposed to, because no plane really is designed to get hit in the face with a tank shell. I mean, I don't know if that's what happened here. It looks like fire damage, to be honest, which lends credence to my theory that people were putting fuel trucks underneath the hangar, and it was a refueling station for whatever happened at Hostomel Airport. I don't know. And somebody targeted that fuel depot and bye-bye. It looks like fire damage to me, guys. Judging by how the front of the plane looks like a deflated balloon. That's what happens when you heat aluminum. It kind of just melts. So, yeah, Raven Guard, they may finish it. There is one more thing that you guys, I mean, if you want to look at this footage for a second, I thought people would appreciate it. Here, check this out. So there's a spot at the very end of the video where they're showing, see how the aluminum looks like melted and stuff? This is all fire damage. But check this out. Something that is actually pretty cool. So look. So this bulkhead right here survived. Why did it survive? Why didn't it melt? It's definitely aluminum. It's cast. See that? The casting survived it survived the fire. Now, why would you need such a strong bulkhead right there? Well, when you're holding up the front of a damn space shuttle, it needs to be strong. Isn't that cool? There's the front. That's Buran's front mounting point right there. Now, that's probably not something I want to see in this condition, but also at the same time, that's really cool because there you go. Reinforced. It's all reinforced to hold the shuttle together, or to hold the shuttle on top without bending the airframe. Isn't that neat? I think that's really cool. I mean, the plane being destroyed, I don't like that part, but it's cool to see the supports. Isn't that neat? You see how reinforced these stringers are? They're freaking huge. I'm guessing with the wings that close to the fire, there's a good chance they're a loss as well. Well, that one is, John. The other one, so the other thing about this, dude, is that the wing box, the box on the 225 is gigantic. It goes out to the first engine, believe it or not, and the wing, the subassembly for the wing is like right after it. Here, let me see if Dimitro turns back over here and looks at the wing. You could see the bulkhead where the wing box ends and the wing begins. It's like, actually, it's like somewhere around here. But look, see all the unburnt? Look at all the soot. Fires, diesel fires, and like Falcon 9, it's the same kind of soot. See what's going on here? That's very fuel rich, which means there's a fuel leak. Or there was a fuel leak. Somebody leaked fuel and that fuel found ignition somewhere. The engine looks okay. Well, first Buran, Energia, now the Dream. Surely want to destroy everything from the past civilization. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks that it ended like this, but hey, it is what it is. But the wing box starts like right here, give or take. It goes like this, John. I only know because the second 225 that's sitting around, I looked at the wing box the other day and compared it to this footage. Dude, that whole wing is usable. I would say that this is usable. It doesn't look that, like this part right here is not, but that's because it got superheated, right, by the fire, hence all the soot, right? But also at the same time, that's the wing box, which is why the wings sagged, because the wing box melted, and why the wing is sitting out on that Cessna, and that Cessna saved the wing, man. How is the engine that clean? The fire blows in a different direction. Guys, I'll be 100% honest with you. It looks like someone tried to put the fire out. Yeah. It looks like someone tried to put it out. When planes... Here, let me show you other parts of the video. When planes burn, they burn. There's usually nothing left. The only discernible part of a plane that you see when it catches on fire is the tail, like this. This is another part of the video. That Antonov got shattered. Right? That was a helicopter. Was. You usually, aluminum, when it burns, it just, when it gets hot, it just liquefies and the whole thing just melts. You usually don't find any discernible pieces except for the tail. I love how they blanked out the serial numbers if we couldn't see that. Okay. So that's usually what it looks like. My guess is somebody tried to put the fire out. It looks like someone put the fire out, else the whole plane would have burned to the ground. Hey, SFI, what's going on? Yep, aluminum melts at like, what is it, like 130 C or something? Like 300 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere around there. It's not, dude, it's really, really strong unless you heat it. When you heat it, it literally becomes liquid. I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but you get the idea. Very, very low melting point. That's the Russian one that burned. Nice. Yeah, that not Kentep. There was some hardcore fighting going down at Hostomel. I don't know what the hell happened there, but once again, if you're going to set up a fueling point, either side is going to set up a fueling point, and you want to do it in a hangar, right? So they were probably quick staging the fuel at the hangar, and somebody hit the fuel depot. I don't know which side was doing what. Someone hit the fuel depot, and the plane caught on fire. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. That's what I said that on the first day. But I don't know, man. Yeah, it sucks, dude, but hey, it is what it is. Are you doing any other air ploof today? Sorry, Acton. What plane is this? X-59. Got nukes. You get a picture of it. Aluminum melts at 1,221 degrees. Are you sure? Pretty sure that's not. I'm pretty sure that's not right. What is that? 1,000 Kelvin? Depends on the alloy. Someone is right. Yeah. Captured is also good. We could use it. Get the tractors out. Get the damn tractors out. Let's go. Natch, can I post a link? Sure, man. So, look, that Cessna holding that wing up is what I wanted to show you guys. I'm not really interested in talking about what's going on in the war. I don't like making money off of people getting hurt. That's just not cool. I don't like doing that. But the wing, though, that Cessna held that damn wing up. Isn't that cool? Hey, you got to take the good with the bad. In this case, it's a lot of bad, with maybe a little bit of good. 7075 melts at 477, which is 890F. Yeah, there you go, Bill. Even then, that's nothing compared to steel. Steel's temperature is way higher. The engineering of that little beast. You know how heavy that damn wing is? It has 3 gigantic freaking turbofans attached to it. That Cessna's like, I got it. I'm all right. You know? Put that damn Cessna in a museum, man, when this is all over. That thing is cool. Your doppelganger goes to my gym, I swear. I look like a lot of different people, dude. So, that's some cool news. Here's some bad news. I'm not happy about this, Thomas. I want to slap the person that thought this was a good idea. Yeah, I don't like that. They're talking about rebuilding it. Well, they can use that wing, Creation. We were talking about pulling that booster out and making it a museum the other day. They scrapped it. That was the original Saturn 1 test booster. They green run Saturn 1 with this thing. True story. Yeah. I want to know who is responsible for this, so I can publicly shame them. Yeah, I want to know who's responsible. Because, yeah, no, they shouldn't have done that. Dude, just take it to the Space and Rocket Center down the street. It's down the street. It's 5 minutes away. Is that so hard to ask? Surely the price of moving it 3 miles is equal to the price of hiring a guy with an excavator to scrap that thing and then hauling it away in pieces. It got unsustainable, indeed. Yeah, that pisses me off. That's bullcrap, dude. I don't know who did this, but this is unacceptable. Unacceptable. It was too expensive to move, though. You know, Kem, at least the dream was caught in the crossfire, okay? I get it. Collateral damage, that sucks. This was willingly destroyed, and I don't like that. That's not okay. That really pisses me off. But the gas prices. Hang on 1 second. Buzz. It's my realtor. I'm serious. Okay. They won't like my comment on that vid. Not an honorable way to die. Yep. Yeah, it's unacceptable. I forgot to ask any updates on the house. They wanted to take the house to market, man. So they didn't reject my offer, but they didn't accept it either. Last, what's up, Natch? Hope this cheers her up. Bonus, tell me what it. Yep. That looks like some Museum of Flight action here. Yep. That looks like some Museum of Flight action right there. Oh, yeah. Yep. Nope. Yeah, that's pretty good. Are the engines still attached? Yes, T-Man. Yep, that's a Saturn V engine. I'm telling you guys, 2 stories tall. Look at it next to Natch right there. She's a beast. Yeah. It's got the D21 on it, dude. P47. F4U. Yeah. The Chadliest of Chad planes. Yeah, Museum of Flight is freaking amazing, dude. Yeah, dude, look at how big that freaking motor is. Look how big that freaking motor is, man. Yeah. Yep, Natch, I don't hate that. Put me in a little bit of a better mood. But not as good of a mood as that little Cessna. That little Cessna that could. It's like, I got it! I'm trying to hold it up! That little Cessna that could, man. What is the insulation? Did they take it off? On the F1? Yeah, it doesn't have any insulation on it. It's trying. Hey, you gotta give it some credit, man. It's holding up like a 30-ton wing. It's not 30 tons. I don't know how heavy it is. It's heavy, though. Look at it. It crushed it. See, chat? This is why you never skip leg day. Okay? That Cessna didn't skip leg day. And it's holding up the dream. Okay? It's holding up the dream. It was a fun day, Natch? That's awesome. Look at it. That's amazing. I'm telling you, that Cessna needs to be in a museum, Kem. She needs to be in a museum. No wonder Cessnas are great for training. Yeah, it kind of skipped leg day. It's more the body holding it up. Yeah, that's right. Take all of it out of your legs. Put all the load right into your back. That's the way you lift, right? Do you even lift? Bro, do you even lift? I hope they save the nose cone. The 225 is prominently displayed if they can recover it as is. Don't worry, Annie, I got you. It's good PR for Cessna, yeah, right? Cessna people are like, yes. Maybe we could build it even better. I mean, the second fuselage is not at Hostomel. It's where is it? It's at Antonov's factory. I don't know where that is. It's outside of Kiev, but it's not at Hostomel. I mean, Kem, look, the thing is that the 225 uses a lot of Antonov 124 parts, and check this out, man. Like at the very beginning of the video, it's weird, man. At the very beginning of the video, Dimitro's at oops. Where is it? It's hard to look at. Yeah, over here. Look, there's an Antonov 124 sitting back there on the south side of the airport. See it over there? There's plenty of spare parts, and I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure that one is not going anywhere either. So let's just take some parts off of that. That one's still on the stand. It's got the same motors. We good. Why don't we just chop the front of this one off and put it on the 225? It'll be fine. It's not how that works. I know that's not how planes work. Aluminum stress fatigue is absolutely a thing. Cutting it doesn't really like that. But see, look, this one's all right. Just take parts off of this, put it on the other one, be fine. No, seriously, they can rebuild it. I mean, Chem, probably needed to be rebuilt anyway. The thing's 30 years old. So build another one. You can do it. If it's anything, we could. I think you guys are smart enough to be able to rebuild one of those things, man. I'm just saying. Frank Antonov. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But yeah, there is a second airframe around. Here, just in case, like anybody's like, oh no, we lost. Like, dude, whatever. Build it. Build it again. It's just a freaking plane. See, second one's around. It's just chilling. It's been stored inside, so it's not like it's broken. And it has the corrosion primer on it, so you good. See? And John, this is what I mean about the wing box. See what I'm talking about? You're right, because if it heated up the wing, yeah, but it melted the wing box, and that's why the wings were sagging. See? They can rebuild it, but it has history, though. Guys, okay, here's the real thing. Yeah, it has history, but look, people are dying, man. You can't. Yeah, that sucks that the plane's gone, but the plane's fixable. The plane's fixable. People getting killed is not. You know, keep it in perspective, right? That's why I say just rebuild it. It's just a plane. It's just a plane. It doesn't matter. Like in the scheme of things, like dude, what does it take for me to say that about a piece of equipment? All right, like I love my planes, I love my trains, I love my cars, I love my rockets. That Saturn one that got scrapped, that sucks. It's unacceptable and it's annoying, but it's just a Saturn. It's just a Saturn. It's just a stage. Whatever. It sucks. Like at the end of the day, you gotta weigh stuff. 225 getting destroyed. Like I would trade that for a human life every day of the week. It's not even a judgment call. You can rebuild the plane. You can make another one. It's fine. They're smart enough. They'll figure it out. You can't replace your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad. That's not replaceable. Sure, we can have more kids, right? But that doesn't replace something. So, fellas, it's just a plane.
Discovery, go and
throttle. Plane, man. They'll make another one. It'll be fine. It's just a plane, dudes. Don't worry about it. They'll make another one. It's no problem. Anyway, let's check out Starship, and then Tarkov is calling me, boys. I think this one, that once this is over, is part of the... Hey, I mean, John, hey, that wouldn't be that far off. Order a couple of them. Why not? Like, what do we got to lose, Last, please, plane question. Are the wings built as one piece and lowered on top of the fuselage like a part flyer? No. They're bolted together. There are bulkheads on an airplane. So, like, there's an interior... It's actually kind of built like a rocket. Well, I should say rockets are built more like planes, but there's a bunch of stringers, right? So they have a bunch of bulkheads. Well, the bulkheads are a lot straighter. They're not like a dome shape, right? And they're usually hollow on the inside, so they're a bunch of rings, right? So like the fuselage of the plane is like a rib cage almost. And then the spine of the plane is up at the top. You can kind of see it here. So the structure, check this out, Flankin. Here, let's look at this 225. Look, you can see where it's all reinforced. See how it bulges right here? Because that's the wing box for the tail. This huge armored piece right here, see how that's really chunky right there? That's the structure that holds the wing with the tails together, okay? On the inside, you have just a rib cage, but this structure is tied. It's actually, believe it or not, tied into the sides here. So it like has a spine that kind of splits, and you can see the reinforcement right here. See it? That's all reinforced. And then the rib cage is reinforced right here too. You could see where the stringers all go together. Oh, there's a wing. I don't think that's a 225 wing, but whatever. See? Here's where it all goes together. You could see the ribs. The ribs are where the panels are riveted up, right? And then there's reinforcement all the way through here. This is missing some pieces, obviously, because it's not finished. But you can see where the reinforcement beam would go right in here. See the flanges on the side? This is a pressurized segment right there. That's literally this. It's fuselage. Yeah, there's a circular fuselage up here, in front and in back of the wing box. Yeah. This is like it's like two circles. There's the one for the cargo, and then there's the one for the wing box on top. And here, depending on the segment of the plane, so like on the 225, you had the bottom with your cargo, and then you had something like this, right? And then the plane looks like this, right? And then your structure is right here and right here. And then at the back of the plane, this structure converges, right? And then there's the tail of the plane, and that's where the wings go, right? If we're looking kind of like back. And then this structure right here, the two structural kind of posts, it's not like a big post, right? But you could see where this piece was supposed to attach. There's still some of the jig right there. And it goes into the wing box. This right here, that's the pelvis of the plane. It holds everything together. If the wing box goes, you're screwed. That's like the Jesus nut. That piece right there on a helicopter, that's like that. If this thing gets structural fatigue, the whole plane will just... That's the strongest part of the plane. I mean, look at how thick that aluminum is. Those are aluminum beams, and they're freaking like at least 5 inches thick. That's the strongest part of the whole aircraft right there. And then those big bulkheads that we saw in Dimitro's video, I mean, unfortunately, it was from the destroyed one, right? Let's go right here. See? Look at how thick the ribs are right at the wing box. See what I'm talking about? It's kind of cool because you kind of have a cross-section here. I mean, I honestly wish we were looking at a cross-section of it being in one piece and just kind of filming it from the inside, but whatever. See, you can see the upper fuselage right there. There's the upper circle, and here's the bottom circle. See that? And these things tie this whole thing together. You need a lot of structure right there around the wing box because what's connected to it down at the bottom? Landing gear. Yeah, those need to be strong as well. So where the landing gear comes together is like the sternum at the front of your rib cage. Yeah, that's how the plane flies. It has a spine, basically. That's how they put them together. And you can blatantly see it here. But the spine splits at the wing box and goes down either side, and then they converge back up here at the bottom. Pretty cool, huh? They don't bolt. Most planes are riveted. They rivet or screw it. They rivet the aluminum skin to that rib cage, kind of like muscles almost. Your muscles aren't riveted. You get the idea. Hey, Kizek, it's cool. The way planes are built is really, really neat. Look, here, in this other 225, you can see one of those big bulkheads that I was just showing you. There's one right there. That's the same one as that. It's that one right there. And then there's one right in front of it. This one has an additional reinforcement because the front of a space shuttle is supposed to mount right here. Remember? So there's the second one right there. See it? And then it goes down, and this one goes down, and it bolts into the landing gear. There's probably another one right there. Yep, there it is. You can see it. Take a look. See it right there? Very strong. Look at how thick that damn aluminum is. And then see, there's another one there, and another one there, and another one there, and another one right there. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thick, very thick. That's where the wing box connects to where the landing gear is, because the landing gear is what's holding the plane up. That needs to be strong. Yep. Yeah, needs to be strong. How bad is the 225? Unrecognizable. Well, partially recognizable. Yep. Smart design. And guys, don't get me wrong. The Antonov 225 is built the same as a 124. It's just an extended fuselage. They can remake it. They can build another one. It's no problem. They'll build another one, man. It's not an issue. Oh, here, check this out. That's cool. Yeah, see? There's the reinforcement right there. See that? Just nice and strong right up in here. It has to be. That's where all the plane connects together. Note how the top bulkhead right here, see that? The top bulkhead, or the top fuselage, this part right here, this is where the people stay. There's like a passenger plane up here with seats, right? There's like aisles and stuff. So it's like a regular narrow body passenger liner stacked on top of a wide body. That's what these cargo planes are like. The C5 is the same way. It stops right there because the wing box needs to be so reinforced. The cool thing is it's convergent design. If we look at a C5 galaxy diagram, you look at a C5, it's pretty similar. Does the same thing. Here, take a look. Yeah, C5s are built in a very similar manner. You see the big 77 right there. See that big structural piece that holds the landing gear together? Same idea. And check it out. There's like, it's cool. The C5 up here has like, it has a bathroom, you have bedrooms, you have a kitchen, so you have a galley and stuff. Because C5s fly for super long periods of time, so you swap crews right in flight. And then in the back, like I said, look, behind the wing box, 117, good number. It's literally a passenger liner back there. You can carry troops and their equipment. All of it. Pretty crazy, right? Now imagining a stretched C5 with 6 engines. You could do it. Why are the seats backwards? Someone, if I had to guess these airplane seats, that's probably just how the diagram thing works. Most airplane seats are bolted on like a rail almost. And you could literally just lift the seat up, turn it around, and bolt it back into the rail. Yeah, I think that's just the diagram. You can make them face different directions. They could, yeah, you can face front and back. Yeah, I want to try to say lives cannot be recovered, but other things like that can. Yeah, Dreadnought, planes are rebuildable. People are not. Okay, and if you really want to look at it like that, you want to be a real dick about it, you know, look, people take a lot more time. It's a lot more time to freaking get people back than it is a freaking airplane, all right? Airplanes are rebuildable. You can make it again. It's no problem. There's a lot more time and effort into making more people. Am I right? All right. No, seriously, jokes aside. Yeah, they'll make another one, guys. They said they would. So, they'll make another one. Whatever. No, not phrasing. No, I meant to say that. All right. So, how about we save the Starship update for tomorrow? We got 3 videos to watch, but it is time for some Tarkov. I'm jonesing for some Tarkov, dudes. So, I hope you enjoyed the space news. This was a cool space news today. Big freaking news with Project Kuiper. That's unbelievable. 38 Vulcan launches, 12 New Glenn, what was it, 15 Ariane 6? Unfreaking real, dude. That is an unreal. A $10 billion contract. Did I see the new teasers for Tarkov today? No. Teasers for Tarkov? First, though, Ferrari floor versus Red Bull floor. Interesting. This is a game. Wood carving? Wow. That's Phenomenon, that's pretty damn impressive. That's impressive tech right there, man. Whoa. Yeah, that's impressive tech. Wow. Let me see the Mosin. 18 for Ariane 6 with 16 of them flying with the P-120C boosters. Thomas, that literally doubles their output of boosters. That's unbelievable. That's I can't believe that. And guys, I know, like, okay, so if you want to think about one last thing before we jump into Tarkov, right? One